sabi wetin we carry for her.
But they move closer before them go sabi.
I said they never know wetin we carry for body.
But they move closer before them go sabi.
Ọ̀kín lọ lọ́jà ẹyẹ, kìnìún ló ló lajú.
Ẹyẹ tó lórí kodò bí àdán, wọ́n gbẹ̀jẹ̀ lẹ́nu.
Ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ilẹ̀ bàbá wa, ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ìlú bàbá wa, ká jùmọ̀ sowọ́pọ̀ ká lè kó Odùduwà ga.
Odùduwà kò bá lè gbé wá.
Ọmọ Odùduwà ṣe gírí. Ẹ dìde fún ẹ̀tọ́ adúláwọ̀, ká lè jọ jùmọ̀ gbé délẹ̀ ìlérí, ká wálé gba ògo ilẹ̀ wa. Ká ṣiṣẹ́ ká lè jọ gbàdé, ká lè gbàdé adé adúláwọ̀. Àwa ni ìmọ̀lẹ̀ tí yóò tàn káàkiri.
Pé ọmọ Odùduwà ni wá.
Koikimedia, àwa là ń gbé tó lárugẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tiwa mọ́ ni.
Kásá ẹgbẹ́ polówó ọjà wa kájé gbùgbà yín jẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tiwa mọ́ ni.
À ń gbé tó lárugẹ, à ń gbàsà lárugẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tiwa mọ́ ni.
News and sports ẹ máa rí gbọ́.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tiwa mọ́ ni.
Ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú alárẹ̀ mi ló ní kí n máa ké tantan. Koikimedia ọlọ́lá gbajúmọ̀ mi o, máa bá ṣẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ o. Ọmọ Yorùbá nìyẹn, ọmọ Yorùbá tata o. À ń gbádùn rẹ ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú alárẹ̀ mi, ṣẹ́yìn lọ́ máa fi pọ̀ tẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ o. Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa ń dé máa dé, ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa wọ̀ o. Igbó máa wọ̀ gbàjòjì ò gbọ́dọ̀ wọ̀, àjòjì tó bá wọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ á dẹ̀dẹ̀ ní ẹbọra. Ẹ̀yin lọ máa náwó kóyìnbó tó dé, ìgbà tó yìnbó dé o, owó náà dẹ́ tún pọ̀ sí o. Koikimedia ṣàwa ní bàbá. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Àdáńtọ́ àtúnpèrègèdè.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Àwa là ń gbé tó lárugẹ, jẹ́ ká jọ gbọ́ o.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Àtúnjà fẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ wa, fẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Ọmọ Oòduà ni wá o, tọkàntọkàn.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Ikú tí ó ṣe bí lébi òsì, àdìmú bàbá iyọ̀.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
We bring you up closer to your doorstep.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Afẹ́fẹ́ tó ń fẹ́ o, tó ń kan gíoko lára ni.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Àpèrègèdè Olódùmarè ló fún wa ṣe.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Gbogbo ayé ẹ gbọ́, àwa ní bàbá o.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Ẹ máa bọ̀ wá ẹgbẹ́ polówó ọjà yín wá o.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Odùduwà lágbédá ní, òtítọ́ lágbédá ní.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
A kì í sọ̀dálẹ̀, a kì í sóníkèéta.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Àdúró tán, a tún pèrègèdè.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Koikimedia we bring you up closer to your doorstep.
Àwọn ní bàbá.
Koikimedia is around.
To give us latest.
Is around o.
To give us latest.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Ẹ mú kalẹ̀ sílẹ̀, ẹ tẹ́tí ẹ gbọ́ ètò tó pọ̀jù owó.
ladies and gentlemen,
Ẹ mú kalẹ̀ sílẹ̀, ẹ tẹ́tí ẹ gbọ́ ètò tó pọ̀jù owó.
Koikimedia is around.
To give us latest.
Koikimedia.
Koikimedia, we're bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
Koikimedia. Koikimedia. Koikimedia.
kí ló kà kí ló wí kí ló. èmi àtẹ̀mí Ìbàdàn.
Kí ló kà? Kí ló wí? Kí ló ọ̀dọ̀? Kí ló kà? Kí ló kà? Kí ló wí? Kí ló ọ̀dọ̀? Kí ló kà? Kí ló kà?
subsidy remover. NLC proposed wage award. And a fresh twist as DSS invites suspended EFCC chairman Bauer for questioning. It's interesting, you know. And why did Tinubu suspend Bauer as EFCC boss? It looks like Tinubu is on the rampage, you know, making sure that whatever thing that was going on wrong there at the time, he's trying to deal with it. But like I said, we're going to be telling you more about all that as we gear ourselves this morning to bring you the updates from Nigeria with Mr. FOLAYEMI Koiki. Welcome your way from Star Radio UK. Okay. Yes, as you know, I tell you all the time that the program will not be void of music. So as and when we have any breaks, I do my best to bring you some lovely tunes this morning. But now, it is my singular honor to once again invite or welcome the White Lion himself, Mr. FOLAYEMI Koiki in the house. And let me say, Yomi, good morning.
Well, a very good morning to you in the studio, and I hope you can hear me loud and clear.
Loud and clear, loud and clear. How are you doing, sir?
Well, we give thanks, as we always say when we are live. I've been listening to you before coming into the conversation. The most important thing is, there's a lot happening around the world, so we just have to be very grateful when we are still here, existing and hoping that there won't be another third world war that would eventually lead to human catastrophe. But for now, we give thanks, and we are back again on the Star Radio UK network as we continue with the most populous black nation, they say, Nigeria, that has a huge stake when it comes to part of the 193 countries around the world today.
Well, listeners, it is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. With the time 8 minutes past the top of the hour. But let's go straight. Let me acknowledge Adebanji Sunday. He says, free, our freedom fighter now. Hashtag IGBOHO, IGBOHO, free, Nnamdi Kanu, now. Okay, they are freedom fighters. And I know people have been calling for their freedom. But I think the president is doing something extraordinary. But before we come to that, let's go to what was discussed on Niger Voices yesterday. Yomi. Hello, Yomi.
Yes, yesterday was a very beautiful day. It was the Niger Voices, and it is still Niger Voices. So yesterday, we went back to review the 3 weeks. Some say it's too early to cut the short. We need to give maybe another 3 months or 6 months before we can start discussing, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. A couple of things that we touched on yesterday is what he has done up to 3 weeks. And by the time we were leaving the Star Radio UK, also, the EFCC has also removed, the chairman as well. So it seems, after Tinubu inauguration on the 29th, we went into what we called the subsidy, which triggered, the petrol hike, the petrol strike. That almost triggered a full-scale protest in Nigeria. But as we speak right now, it seems that is a little bit, stable, because the Nigerian Labour Congress is still discussing, with Bola Tinubu and the rest as well. And also, as that was also almost coming, we also realized that the CBN has also part of those that have destabilized the country. But as we speak right now, the currency is floating according to the private sector economics. Back CBN as the Naira continued to a little bit fall. Yesterday was just about 750 to 755. So we also talked about the, those that are agitating. Is Bola Tinubu going to, at some point, sit down with them, negotiate? As many Nigerians says, the 1999 Constitution does not have the clause for the referendum. But if Mali a country of 21 million on the 18th of this month will be changing over either yes or no, a new constitution. That literally means that the 1999 constitution can also be brought down and allow a legitimate referendum included and decide whether those that still want to remain as part of Nigeria will do so. Also, we talked about the student loan, which has been whether Nigerians will be able to get in some of the criteria to apply for that student loan. So that was the discussion on the Star Radio UK on the Niger Voices Network yesterday.
Well, listeners, Mr. Olayemi Koiki on a summary of what was discussed on the Niger Voices. And as I do say all the time, now, if you missed out on it, please, next week, God willing, once he comes on, don't miss out on it at all, because we're going to be telling you more about all that next week. All right, then. Let's now come to the substantive issue that is going on here. Now, did the president fire the EFCC boss, Bauer?
Well, it has always been that it's going to happen, but how soon is what we don't know. But what we were told, this was somebody appointed by the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, is a very young man. Whether is right qualified for the job, because we know that nepotism played a very huge role when it comes to appointment with the former president, Muhammadu Buhari. But Bauer has now had a meeting with Tinubu. He's the one on the right-hand side. You can see that he's a very young man, and he's been working. But it seems that the time has catch up with him. And what we can now confirm that he's currently being held just as Emefiele in the custody of the DSS. But one thing is, he had his last meeting with Bola Tinubu. From what we were told, maybe he was not even aware that he'll be hearing his removal on the National Television Authority called NTA. The Department of the State Services, DSS, has now arrested the suspended chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, known as the EFCC, Abdulrasheed Bauer. Bauer arrived the headquarters of the DSS just at about 2 minutes past 2100 hours yesterday. According to the sources, he's currently being grilled by the operatives of the secret police. You might be asking, why could the DSS be grilling the former EFCC? He also has a baggage of allegation, according to, just before Tinubu was coming as the president. But the spokesman of the DSS, Peter Afunaya, confirmed Bauer present in a statement. The Department of the State Services has invited Mr. Abdulrasheed Bauer, to their custody. The invitation relates to some investigative activities concerning him, according to Afunaya. So it seems that Tinubu is going after them one at a time. Who is the next person to be suspended is still in the leaves. I say maybe Buratai, the ambassador representing Nigeria in Benin Republic. Remember, it was one man that had multiple allegations, being the former chief of army staff, where billions of naira got missing while he was the chief of staff and protecting as many of Nigerians in his position. Wow. But I don't know what Tinubu is going to be doing. We have to wait for him.
Well, we have to wait for him. And the moment he fires somebody, then the DSS goes after him. He fired Emefiele, and then next the DSS goes after. So who next? As Yomi has said, we'll be telling you more about that. Bishop Adesina, good morning to you. He's giving us some breaking news. The tallest man in Nigeria, named Afiz Agoro, has died. May his soul rest in perfect peace. How tall was he? Well, Bishop, if you can feed us with that information, that would be very, very wonderful. But listeners, it is Star Radio UK. It is the Thursday edition. Why am I saying Wednesday? Because I wanted another Niger Voices. Don't you worry, it will come next week. It's the Thursday edition of the morning show. I am with Mr. Olayemi Koiki. Now, let's come to the CBN. We did talk about the CBN. Now we have information coming through that the Central Bank of Nigeria has directed deposit money banks to remove the rate cap on the naira at the official investors and exporters window of the exchange market to allow for a free float of the national currency against the dollar and other global currencies. Is it something that is going to help the naira appreciate against the dollar, or is it going to now cause the naira to fall further down? Yomi.
Maybe we should just give you a bit of background of that tallest man, and we move straight into the dollar, which is the money being used by so many Nigerians when it comes to our relationship with the world. Even though that isn't right there, you can see. But what do we know when it comes to the age, the size? Hafiz Agoro Olademeji is 7 feet 4 inch height, restricted him from finding even love, according to the information. He was born on 13th of December 1975, but from the news coming out now, it seems we can only pray for the soul of these man known as Hafiz Agoro. He died at the age of 47. The news is already filtering through as we speak right now, and then we're going to go straight. Like I said, he was born in Lagos State in 1975, December 13. He was measured as 7 feet 4 inch in height, and is the second tallest human in West Africa, as he died during a battle with what we call acromegaly, known commonly as gigantism. He died on Wednesday night, on the 14th, at the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, LUTH, after he developed some complication. Recall that the 48-year-old Agoro called for 5 million naira help for medical surgery and therapy just a few months ago. Again, part of what we say in Nigeria. May Nigeria not happen to you. You would expect such an individual not to even come in on the social media to ask for 5 million naira when some of the politicians are stocking up the dollar. So we move straight now to the dollarization that we are just discussing as we speak right now. Once again, may the soul of Hafiz peace. Currency floating. The private sector economics back the central bank as the naira fall to 674 naira to $1. The Central Bank of Nigeria yesterday has now directed Deposit Money Bank to remove the rate cap on the naira at the official investor and exporter window of the foreign exchange. So many Nigerians, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, so many Nigerians do not understand how this works. We've always have the banks where you can go in and say, I need $3,000 to send to my son in any part of the world. And that will literally mean that you need to be able to exchange that with the bank rate. But the bank have always sent you to the black market. Whether Tinubu is going to be able to curb the black market, we don't know yet. But this came barely 2 weeks after President Tinubu promised to unify the nation's multiple exchange rate, and less than a week before the suspension and detention of CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele, whose unorthodox monetary policy had become a stumbling block to the investor and the economy. Star Radio UK, I'll come again back to you in the studio.
Wow, that's quite an interesting one. But again, how that is going to impact citizens of Nigeria and those in the business, as to whether it's going to help them or not, is another thing that we have to be watching closely. But Tinubu seems to be, surprising people with all his actions that he's taking. I really hope that his decisions or whatever he's making will better Nigerians' life. Okay, Bishop Adesina, thank you very much. Yeah, he also fed us with information that Hafiz Agoro was 7 feet 4 inches tall. May his soul rest in perfect peace, as we have said there. Well, it is Star Radio UK in the North London studios. Mr. Olamileka, I'm here in the South studios, Archie. Now, let's come to one other big thing that happened before the former president left the scene, Buhari, and that is the launching of the Nigeria Airways. Okay, now we've heard all that had gone on, and now one other person, Onyema. I don't know who Onyema really is, but Yomi will be telling us.
Onyema is the leader of the. Is the owner of the Airpeace.
Oh, Airpeace Airline. Yeah. Okay. Onyema. And then he's saying that Tinubu should dissolve Nigeria Airways. Is he saying that because he thinks that is something that is going to, compete with him, with whatever he is doing, because he's in the same aviation industry, and therefore, if you think that maybe we can get more money or competition will be too keen and that will not better his life. That's why he's saying that. But what has Oyema said?
Well, when we look back again at these, Nigerian air, it has always been a question mark. Even though the former minister is also speaking and disagree with with the allegation and the rumor outside, but the Nigerian owner of Air Peace, Oyema, has now asked Bola Tinubu, the president, to dissolve the Nigerian air. What could be the reason? The chief executive officer of the Air Peace, Alan Oyema, has called for the dissolution of the Nigerian air, the national carrier unveiled during the previous administration. This is suggested that the country should rather invest in a flag bearer airline than a national carrier, which he described as a moribund. Oyema spoke yesterday in the mainstream media in the morning yesterday, criticized the shareholding structure of the airline, saying that it favors Ethiopia. He argued that Nigeria is contributing financial investment for the airline, while Ethiopia is said to earn 49% of the venture without actually putting any money into it. According to the federal government, took delivery of the first plane of the country national carrier Nigerian Air amid protests from local airline operator that it was contrary to a court order which barred the government from taking further action on the project. The Air Peace boss revealed that in 2019, Ethiopian Airline approached Air Peace for a partnership, but he turned down the offer because of his patriotism for Nigeria, adding that according to the agreement signed for the stake in Nigerian Air, Ethiopians were not expected to bring in any money as an investment into the project. Also, he alleged that the leadership of the entire management of the proposed Nigerian Air, the DFO, CEO, and all the management positions were to be headed by Ethiopians, while the deputy position was given to Nigeria.
Wow. So what is the connection between the Ethiopian Airlines and the Nigeria, the alleged airlines, the national airlines? That is, Ethiopian Airlines going to be running the administration for them or managing the airlines? Is that what they're trying to do? Or are they going to be renting planes from them? What exactly is the negotiation that has gone on there?
Well, I mean, these are the problems, I mean, if looking at what he's saying there, since 2019, this has been going on. I remember they came to London until we now have information that Ethiopia Airline is actually, I mean, I don't know what airline they were going to be using in London anyway. So, but now that we find a little bit information, it seems that the whole project would not favor Nigeria, because if Ethiopia is not putting any money down, they're going to be the lead of the management position while Nigerians will be the deputy. It could be maybe because those planes will be leased to Nigeria, and that is more than enough as a stakeholder than putting in any monetary power. But, according to Oyema says, Ethiopia, he argued that Nigeria is contributing the financial investment for the airline, while Ethiopia is said to earn 49% of the venture without actually putting any money down. So it seems that is contrary to a court proceeding that is already going on. Oyema also stressed that the unveiling of the Nigerian Air, despite the litigation, was a total disrespect of judiciary. Nigerian government, especially the former president Muhammadu Buhari, has never respected any judiciary, because Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped, rendition, and Buhari thought is a normal thing to do in 21st century. He left the whole thing now for Bola Tinubu to deal with. And we did ask the question yesterday, will Bola Tinubu look into the case of Nnamdi Kanu from the judicial aspect, or maybe we have to wait for a new AGF, because the former one might also be arrested? We don't know yet, but it seems that Tinubu is taking it step by step.
Well, the old man taking step by step. Well. Anthony Adebanji, good morning to you. Before I go to Adebanji Sunday, now the ownership structure of the Nigerian Airways Air consists of Ethiopia Airlines as a majority shareholder with a 49% stake. Now, while Nigerian entrepreneurs and companies, namely MRS, SA, SACO, and the Nigerian Sovereign Fund, hold a 46% stake. The remaining 5% stake is held by the Nigerian federal government. So a bit of information there for you. So if we were thinking that Nigeria is going to own its own airlines, that was what was going to happen. It's Ethiopian Airlines just doing some business in Nigeria. But yesterday we had Felix on the show, and he was talking about how the Ethiopian Airlines have managed their airline, and up to now they are even during the lockdown and everything, whilst airlines were seeing a downtrend in their revenue, they were still seeing an uptrend. I mean, making profit there. So maybe it isn't that well. They are the best people to maybe manage it, and maybe we get something out of it. But whatever it is, as we're saying, majority of the funds is coming from Nigeria. So why shouldn't they rather get the bigger stake in it? It is already. Adebanji Sunday says Nigeria is finished. Since 1960, no more love from beginning in Nigeria between Igbos, Hausas, Yorubas. United Nations should end Nigeria to save life. Now we are not one in Nigeria, 100%. That's what he's saying. So coming your way from Star Radio UK, it is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bishop Adesina also says, but my question is simply this: is Ethiopia, if Ethiopia can build plants, what happens to Nigeria to buy and run its service instead of renting planes? That is quite a big one there. But let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Okay, let's move on to some of the other stories making the rounds. Now, there are some people who are complaining that the DSS, okay, that's the anti-graft agency. It's a Nigerian government using anti-graft agency, that's the EFCC, for political vendetta, says Transparency International. And that is quite a serious one, because Transparency International are the ones who will see whether people are being abused and all stuff that is going on. But it looks like, okay, if you are not in APC and you belong to PDP, then I can use the EFCC to somebody say pursue you and then maybe destroy whatever things that you are doing. So is that what the Transparency International is saying? And is there any truth in that at all, Yomi?
Well, you're quite right. When the world looks into Nigeria, especially the international community, they look at it from, how the government managed some of the bodies that is meant to be part of the system. Yesterday, we looked into the NDIC, and some of what was being revealed by the NDIC yesterday also indicate what we have been saying when it comes to the crime against corruption. And let me just give you a bit of the snip from what the NDIC chairman, which is the new chairman of the Nigerian Deposit and Insurance Corporation, Abdulatif, when the Independent or Transparency International looked at some of these, this end up to the same thing we are discussing here. Let's hear a little bit from him.
Nigerians, I will speak, even if today is the last day I will spend in this world. I want you to know that the battle Asiwaju is fighting to rid this country of endemic corruption is a battle that cannot be left in his hand alone. Every head of parastatals in Nigeria must stand up to let him know the rot in your own establishment. I tell you, NDIC stinks. There's a lot of rot going on. They say when you fight corruption, corruption fights you. Now the document you see in my hand is one of the ways the corruption engineers in Nigeria are fighting back. Each time you say you want to have a true change, like the one brought about by President Tinubu, you will have the change champions who will support him, but you have the change skeptics and the game changers who will frustrate all his effort to rid Nigeria of this mess. Now, this is the purported new act of the NDIC, and I tell you for nothing, this is Emefiele's act. I tell you because here they have taken away the powers of Mr. President in respect of the NDIC. Let me start by telling you the mandate of the NDIC. The NDIC is set up as an independent agency of government to ensure that depositors' money is arising from the misbehavior of bank directors, whether in conspiracy with the CBN or when they are acting alone. That is why the NDIC has been set up as an independent body to ensure that depositors do not cry even when banks fail.
Well, we hope that nobody will cry, because what the transparency is saying is that it seems that the government are just using that against each other. The Transparency International in Nigeria says EFCC Chairman Abdulrasheed Bawa's suspension did not come as a surprise, because the successful Nigerian government used the anti-corruption agency to settle political score. Obasanjo did the same thing. Are we going to see APC to APC? Because we know that Buhari was there for 8 years, so that literally means that Tinubu will not be fighting PDP. He will probably be using the same thing to score between the same APC that he's probably not pleased with. Because I don't see him going after PDP that was not in power for 8 years, or probably maybe the PDP that will probably disturb him. But most importantly, those that have been affected in the suspension and DSS courting at the moment are still one of those individuals that President Muhammadu Buhari, the former president, put in there. But for now, the international transparency are saying that President Bola Tinubu is just doing the same thing that others have done, so nothing changed. But you can hear the cry of the new chairman of the NDIC saying that even if Tinubu wants to fight the corruption to the fight back, like Nigerian will say.
Well, you fight corruption, corruption fights back. And what do we see and what can we do from there? Well, it is all coming away from Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I'll bring it a time to 11:32 from the hearts of London. We'll go back to Yomi for some more of the stories making the rounds. Over to you, Yomi.
We have so many Nigerian students that are studying outside Nigeria, and it seems that even those that can afford it will probably have to find their own dollar to be able to do so. The central bank has now removed exchange rate subsidy for overseas Nigerian students using Form A. Applications for medical, school fees, BTA, PTA, and the SME will continue to be processed through a deposit money bank. As part of its ongoing effort to harmonize the country exchange rate, the Central Bank of Nigeria has now discontinued providing forex subsidies to Nigerian students. The question Nigerians will be asking is, who are those benefiting from the forex subsidy? Because I myself will be thinking that, so that means Nigerians at some point have been enjoying even subsidy in the dollar, as some have enjoyed subsidy in the petrol. The Apex Bank has made this known in a statement saying that all the segmentation is being eliminated and that all segments are now to be collapsed under the investor and the exporter known as the IE windows. All segments are now collapsed to the investor and the exporter windows. Application for medical, school fees, BTA, PTA, SME will continue to be processed through a deposit money bank, the statement partly read. This operation changes mean that Nigerians schooling abroad paying for their school fees via the CBN rate will now have to pay the floated market rate. The question is, how many Nigerians are enjoying this subsidy that we are hearing today? Nigeria is just one country that you listen to, you read a lot of things, and the question keeps on going back and forth, just as the next headline is also coming again. Remember, we talked about a senator asking the wife for favor on some of the court cases. Senator Bukachukwu admitted committing crime should be prosecuted. The NBA, the statement was clearly admission by a senator that he attempted to or actually perverted the Court of Justice. Imagine in UK asking the Court of Appeal judge to look into a case for you. What would have been the current situation? We've been monitoring the former Prime Minister Boris Johnson that resigned. He's been going through a lot of interrogation for the role that he played during the COVID-19. But in Nigeria, everything just goes on the headline and everything fade away. Statement by the president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Mr. Yakubu Chonoko Mayakwa, OON, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, on the comment by the Senator Adamu Mohammed Bukachukwa on the floor of the Senate on Monday, 12th of June. My attention has been drawn. Maybe he was not in the country because it's now almost 72 hours. But he said his attention has been drawn to a viral video clip on the social media of the comment made by a Senator Adamu Bukachukwa on the floor of the Senate at the valedictory section of the Senate of the Ninth Assembly before it was interrupted and stopped by the then Senate President Ahmed Lawan. Senator Bukachukwa, in his remark, among other things, referred to confidential dealings he had with some of his colleagues in the Senate and went to say, I look at faces in this chamber whom have come to me and sought for my help when my wife was the president of the Court of Appeal. I am sure in his concluded remark he said, and I must thank particularly my wife, whose freedom and independence I encroached upon while she was in office, and she has been very tolerant, accepted by the encroachment, extended her help to my colleagues. This is what is happening in the Senate floor, where they are using their position to help each other. Wow, what a country for the rich and the country for the poor. Let's go straight to the social media where we discuss some of what is trending this morning. Once again, the question is, how is the Senate president and the president going to react to so many of those things that is still happening in Nigeria at 37 minutes past 11? Central Bank is trending. I'm sure you know why. Buhari is trending. Why is Buhari still trending? Is the former president? In a particular video that I came up during the Niger Voice says, this is what the former president actually told us. Don't try it. Even if you try it, you will be in problem. Let's listen to him.
Nobody should ask me to come and give any evidence in any court. Otherwise, whoever it is, he will be in trouble.
Well, you heard him very well. Maybe we'll play it one more time, and then I'll do a little bit voiceover.
Nobody should ask me to come and give any evidence in any court. Otherwise, whoever it is, he will be in trouble.
Nobody should ever ask him to come and give any evidence in the court of law. Otherwise, if you try it, you will be in trouble. Wow. Well, why is it trending? EFCC has now summoned the ex-aviation minister, Seriki, question Nigerian air official. The minister at the twilight of Buhari administration launched Nigerian Air. So it seems that the DSS have now called the former aviation minister. That is the breaking news that is coming through as we speak right now. EFCC summoned ex-aviation minister Seriki, question Nigerian air official. Seriki Malami should be the next in custody of the DSS. Just to understand what the hell happened in the last 8 years. This is coming from Maurice Moyo as we are now looking into some of the headline from the social media. David Odoye, Nuru Buhari from EFCC Cybercrime Division is being taped as his replacement. Reward his favor to Minister Bola Tinubu. So it seems that Nuru Buhari is coming up. We don't know yet. We have to wait and see. So Buhari is trending. Shehu Ghazali Sadiq at Shehu Oscar, any northern Nigeria complaining of marginalization with regard to Tinubu's recent political appointment is stupid. Buhari ran the most nepotistic government in the history of Nigeria. You kept quiet because he's your own. Those of us that criticize him were all insulted. And let's go further a little bit more. He went on to say again, cost daily as enemies. I remember making a post sometimes ago warning that table will turn one day. I hope you will all maintain your quiet now that the table has turned. Please maintain your quiet disposition and let Bobo Chicago enjoy his government like Buhari did. Moreover, those of us in the obedient movement warned the North about Tinubu, but nobody listened. We beg that you give Peter Obi a chance to the right wrongs in our politics, but you call us IPOB. You rigged the election for Tinubu. Please enjoy him, Joe. So it seems that this individual, is a full-blown obedient, telling those that are now complaining that Tinubu is becoming a little bit to the side of the Yoruba, but that seems in the favor of some other as well. Afiz Agoro is already trending. We talked about him. May so rest in peace. I'm not sure why Home Office is trending in Nigeria, but as you know, we have a lot of Nigerians that are studying in UK. Maybe it has something to do with Nigeria. I am not too sure, but maybe, we don't know. There's no evidence yet, but the Home Office wants you to live in chaos while they oversee your replacement. We don't know what has happened yet, but what we can say is that the man that committed the crime yesterday or day before yesterday in Nottingham is from West Africa. We are not too sure the real breakdown of which part of West Africa. Maybe that is what that is trending. I don't know, but I've looked at why Home Office is trending under Nigeria this morning. I can't say anything, but a 23-year-old is a refugee from Sudan who was granted a final leave to remain in Britain last year by the Home Office, despite the fact that he was already facing this rape charge. It is always innocent citizens who pay for the failing. So nothing to link Nigeria, but we have to wait and see. So let's take one more from the social media, then I'm going to come back again to you. Service chief is trending. Maybe that will be the line that Tinubu will be removing. Time will tell. Star Radio UK, the finest African and Caribbean radio station, Dr. Elmo, PSYD, under at Dr. Elemo Atiku. Suspension of the CBN governor is not an achievement. Suspension of the EFCC chairman is not an achievement. Appointment of the SGF and COS is not an achievement. Sacking the service chief is not an achievement. Appointing new minister is not an achievement. Every new government since 1960 does the same generic act to build its own team. There's nothing new about this engagement appointees of the previous government. End the foolishness and the stupidity now. And that is coming from someone definitely in support of Atiku.
Wow, that's a lengthy one there. But listen to Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I'm bringing the time now to 18 minutes to the top of the hour. But let me read some of the comments that have come through. Bishop Adeshina says, but EFCC were supposed to be independent. Well, you know what? When it comes to Africa, institutions that are supposed to be independent are not actually independent. They get on doing all sorts. So that seems to be one of the things that is happening. Adejoke Olaniyi says that, may God bless you, Koiki. And Omabala G. Abdullahi says, Tino Misrachi and Mr. Koiki. Almighty Allah bless every one of your team. God bless Star Radio UK. God bless you too there. And lots of love to you. And say, Yoruba Nation, no going back. Now, you know, I mean, it's quite interesting, all those comments and things that people are putting across there. And I really hope, honestly, I want to give Tinubu a bit of chance. I mean, because of the thing that he's doing, people thought that maybe just going to come in and they just do same old. But he seems to be having a mind of his own, trying to make his own, impact on Nigeria. So let's see. But have we, as of yet, heard anything pertaining to Chief Sunday IGBOHO and Nnamdi Kanu?
We did talk about that, yesterday, and we have few supporters of Bola Tinubu with us through our Naija Voices yesterday. And like we always say, we make sure we balance the conversation, without being biased. Some of them believe that with time, Tinubu will give Sunday IGBOHO the freedom that he's been asking for to return back to Nigeria without any, problem with the Nigerian government, as we know from what Buhari did with him. Also, we talked about Nnamdi Kanu, especially knowing fully well that Buhari kidnapped. There's nothing, in the international law today that allows such rendition and kidnap. Even Abba Kyari is still in Nigeria with the request of the DSS. So what we can say is that with time, Tinubu will have to prove himself, especially with these two individuals. But some are asking, Buhari, wanted to, pick up Chief Dr. Sunday IGBOHO, but that didn't happen because Benin Republic put their foot on the ground to say that we will not give Buhari the opportunity to remove IGBOHO from Benin Republic. Would Tinubu do it in a reverse way? by giving him that access to move around, knowing fully well that the reason why Igboho was kept in Benin Republic is for the fact that Buhari, under the DMDSS, put a note out that it must be stopped at any airport in any part of the world. And that was the reason why Benin Republic actually stopped him. But now, some are saying that Igboho hasn't committed any crime in terms of those that are asking and begging Bola Tinubu. Tinubu also had the opportunity to flare for his life when Abacha wanted to eliminate him, whether it went by road, whether it went by car, whether it went by ship. But we know that he spent more time in UK until Abacha died and returned back home. I'm not sure anybody begged for the return of Tinubu, but what Igboho is fighting for is the right to self-determination under the international law, which Bola Tinubu needs to negotiate with Professor Adebanji Akintoye and the Biafra so that we can have a peaceful exit out of Nigeria for those that are agitating.
Well, listeners, that's been quite, so to call it, a mouthful or a handful of information that has come to you today. But we're going to be running up the updates from Nigeria. And as we know, as I've been saying, let's keep fingers crossed. We don't know. The new president doing all sorts. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, maybe we wake up one day and then one morning and they say, well, you know what? We just freedom for everybody, and everybody can get on with their lives in peace. And maybe the marginalization will all cease, and we'll see something different for Nigeria as a whole. But on that note, let me say thank you very much. Yomi, your last words before you leave us.
Well, it is not any other platform. It is the Star Radio UK network. Stay tuned with us. There's still more news, traffic coming up to you. But for now, as I always say, you are in the good hand of Archie to take you through the rest of the program. But later on tonight is the property hour. Even if you're not buying yet, listen, you might be buying in the near future. My name is OLAMILEKAN on the Star Radio UK network. Thank you so much, and bye for now.
Bye-bye. Well, listeners, that has been Mr. Olayemi bringing you updates from Nigeria. It comes your way every weekday from 11 o'clock during the course of the morning show. But for now, we're going to take in some musical break, and once we come back,
Thank you so much, so far. Let me just say we are now going to go into our own discussion. We've adjusted all the audios and everything that needs to be adjusted. We are just finishing some much kind of movement because I have to keep moving those on the Instagram. We have to keep moving the Vice, is a mobile studio. And look, hey, I have to keep moving those on the Instagram. We have to keep moving mobile studio. So that literally means that every now and then, thank you so much, my apology. I have to keep moving things around. So let me bring you out here first. Let's get my face into the camera. But as usual, it doesn't matter whether you are in any part of the world. Star Radio UK. We love you all, especially in Nigeria. I always say, looking at my record all the time, you guys are spending a lot of money. So let me remove the Star Radio UK there and bring my face in. I might just stand up for 10 minutes or so. But before then, let's get my face in. Yeah. I love this background though. I use OBS to stream. So they can joke about that. I know it's showing me red, so stable. So I don't know why. So bear with us. It shouldn't be like that, but not too sure why it's not stable. I can say that the broadcast is not stable. What I'm going to do, I know I'm running some few things at the background. Maybe that is what is draining the broadcast this morning. So let me shut down some of the, because every time we're loading, we're uploading, So, and also Osonlawa. So it's a busy, this is a peak time. Latiwa on air. Hopefully, you know, in the future, I'll be able to upgrade again. But we have to be sure because there's different price for different internet. So only get is something much better. But for now, it's more manage it. It's okay. If we think that we should increase it at the appropriate time, I will do so. So what ojú èmi àti òòṣà mo ní láti change me. That is Sam, understand the lesson with Latin America, bẹ́ẹ̀ mi ni màá láti lọ sí àwọn tó ń print láti ṣe mí because òjò ti pa ilé ìsọ̀hún ló jẹ́ kó máa òun mo ṣe fẹ́ máa lò lórí Star Radio because kò wà presentable mọ́. So ìyẹn mo ṣe ń lò mọ́ ní ilé iṣẹ́ kélé yóò ṣí òní níbi kò ṣí ò ilé lọ́lẹ̀ ni ilé ló lọ́lẹ̀ ẹ̀jẹ̀ ìjọ àsìkò. Mo kí ogun ilé nǹkan sí i ṣe láìkí sóòtù mi ṣé mo mú bébì ṣé mo mú bébì ẹni tó fẹ́ lọ ṣe ìyàwó. Mo kí owó yín ẹ máa kásán mọ́mí wa Adéyẹmí Mariam mo fi tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ mo fi kí salamu aleykum alájà Fatima sálàfẹ́ lẹ́wà mi. Ṣé mo mú bébì? Mo kí ẹyin ẹjẹ́ ń kẹ́yìn tèmi dáadáa ẹ̀rọ kí mo kí láàárọ̀. Hey mọ́mí wa Chrissy Koiki still catching up with this morning program. Ẹ ti wà behind nìyẹn mú ọ̀pẹ́ Amẹ́ríkà ṣe ń jí mi. Ẹ máa wà ní 7 o'clock nísìnyí depending on the time zone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yeah àwọn kan wà ní 7 àwọn kan wà ní 6 àwọn kan wà ní 5 Amẹ́ríkà náà ní different time zone. So ìyẹn tààrọ̀ yẹn àníjẹ́ kó máa pẹ́ púpọ̀. So ìta máa ṣe ni pé morning lecture yẹn 1 hour 30 minutes ni òun la máa ṣe nísìnyí mo ní jẹ́ kó máa gùn púpọ̀ since mo ṣì máa tún ṣe another program. So maximum 1 hour 30 minutes la máa ṣe so that ẹ lè máa catch up pẹ̀lú gbogbo àwọn programs yẹn. So you know at least we keep you guys we keep you we keep you all busy which I'm sure you like anyway because àbẹ̀kẹ́ máa lọ gbọ́ anything tó máa divert mind yín especially àwa tá à ń ṣe proper program. Àwọn tó kù náà ń ṣe proper program wọn even àwọn tó disagree pẹ̀lú wa but irọ́ ti pọ̀jù nínú content wọn. Àdè lè fi rọ́gba Yorùbá nation kò possible wàláì kò sí bí ṣe lè sọ pé mo fẹ́ Yorùbá nation àdè fi rọ́gba. Ẹ jẹ́ move kìíní sómọ́ mi ó ti wà too far away. Kò sí bá ṣe fẹ́ Yorùbá nation káwa náà fi rọ́gba kò lè work so kò lè work. Irọ́ là ń pa tá a bá ti ń fi rọ́ pé a fẹ́ fi gba Yorùbá nation dẹ̀ a ti sọ Yorùbá nation di nǹkan mí nìyẹn. A lè fi rọ́gba Yorùbá nation a lè fi rọ́gba náà. Ẹni tó bá fẹ́ fi rọ́gba Yorùbá nation then is a waste of time. Ẹ káàsán ìgbọ́n mi Yẹmí Fatoke báwo ni èní òkè yìí wà ní 6:65 bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ mo ní just before 7 o'clock because America wà 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours behind but àwọn state kan wà 8 hours behind. Àwọn tó wà ní Japan ilẹ̀ ti ṣú lọ́dọ̀ tí wọn Australia New Zealand so different time zone ló wà ní gbogbo àgbáyé. So ẹ jẹ́ n kọ́kọ́ kẹ́yìn tiwa dáadáa gbogbo yín pátápátá. Mo kí mi bàbá wa Ibrahim Shitu ta ló tó wà ń bẹ̀ ẹ jẹ́ mú another phone wa because sometimes àwọn èèyàn máa wà nínú program tá a kì í rí Koiki òdẹ̀ kí mi kí ló dé òun bá mi jà ní nínú àbáyọ̀ kọjá o. So ẹ jẹ́ kí n kí dáadáa ẹ jẹ́ kí mo kí màmá tó bí mi lọ́mọ mo dẹ̀ kí gbogbo àwọn Yorùbá world media mo kí Àlùkà mo kí OBJ mo kí ìyàwó Ọbásanjọ́ mo kí ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Jakolúṣọlá congratulations mo ṣàrí Facebook yẹn nísìn mo tún kíyàn kan náà congratulations tí bá ti ní congratulations ó ti dòun l'Amẹ́ríkà fún wọn but I'm not gonna mention their name ẹ ṣé gan ni they shared the joy with me yesterday congratulations again. Ẹ̀mọ̀ tíyàn bá wà nílùú kan tí nǹkan tó ń fẹ́ tó bá ti bọ́ sí it's a good excitement. Kò easy kó wà l'Amẹ́ríkà kó máa wá wèé gbogbo ẹni tẹ́ ń wálẹ̀ máa rí lágbára Ọlọ́run. Àsìkò olúkálukú ló yàtọ̀ mọ́tẹ́ ti sọ fún àwọn èèyàn pé kọ́ yé máa intimidate ara wọn. Ẹni tó ì tí gbàwé ẹ máa intimidate ẹni tó ti gbà máa intimidate ẹni tó ì tí gbà. Àsìkò ló yàtọ̀ gbogbo àná la máa gba ìwé yẹn ó kàn máa ní time different ni so èèyàn kan celebrate pẹ̀lú mi lánàá pé ó ti dòun ó ti dọbẹ̀ ó yẹ yín tí bá sọ pé ó ti dọbẹ̀ fún wọn l'Amẹ́ríkà aláì ó ti di ọbẹ̀ fún wọn ní Amẹ́ríkà mo kí mega money if it is in a sane society some individuals should have been in prison by now aláì Banana Republic ní Nàìjíríà ẹ̀ parọ́ mo kí ẹ Àjàní Àjàlá Ṣẹ́gun Yóvò mo kí ẹ Ọlánìpẹ̀kun má bínú ti pé ó náà ti pè mí títí ò gẹ́tì Owólabí Ahmed Adéọlá mo kí yín so wàláì ẹni tó bá ti gba pálí Amẹ́ríkà kí ló tún fẹ́ máa fi ti Nàìjíríà ṣe ẹ̀ṣẹ́jà rẹ̀ gbọ́n mi Fátókẹ́ broadcast ẹ̀ mo mọ̀ pé ó ń fluctuate àtọ̀dọ̀ mi ni so àtọ̀dọ̀ mi ló ti ń fluctuate òun ló ń jẹ́ kó máa lọ in and out so maybe I should stop àwọn nǹkan tí mo upload bí I can disconnect wọn for now cause kìíní ẹ̀ ń pẹ́ kó tó ṣé mo go live láìla ṣé pé mo click live mo dẹ̀ go live lórí eléyìí ló tún ń pẹ́ báyìí ó ní brother mi kan tí mo bá manage page àwọn àlùkà Yorùbá Nation Àfọ̀njá wàláì mo gbọ́wọ́lé live láti over 40 minutes it's okay wọ́n kàn ní gbọ́ ti Star Radio náà ni so jẹ́ kí n eléyìí náà ti ṣe 40 mo lè upload later anyway so mo ti cut down àwọn kan tí mo upload so that kó lè fún wa ní without any disruption ẹ̀mú ní láti ra Ethernet cable Wi-Fi òun ṣe tó dáa láti máa fi broadcast so ó yẹ kí n máa lo Ethernet cable ní but location bí ṣe ń jókòó everyday ẹ̀gbọ́n mi tó ní edges ẹ̀kú ìtọ́jú mi ẹ̀ ṣe gan ni. Mo kí bàbá wa Adégbọ́lá Ọládìméjì látọ̀dọ̀ mi ní nẹ́tíwọ́ọ̀kì yẹn mo ti cut it down ní so máa stable ní sí ó ti green padà ní sí àtọ̀dọ̀ mi ni mo upload ní fídíò mo sọ pé mi máa gbogbo fídíò mi mo fi sílẹ̀ sórí social media màá máa ṣe wàhálà tó tẹ̀ màá gbé fídíò màá jẹ́ kó gbé gbogbo fídíò mi lọ ó ti stable ní sí ẹ padà sórí YouTube ó ti stable ní sí ó ti wà ní green ní sí so mo ti break gbogbo tí mo upload yẹn mo ti close ẹ̀ màá máa ṣe tí bá parí program ẹ máa káàárọ̀ mọ́mí wa Ọlájídé Kókà mo kí sísítà mi náà Ọlájíre mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa káàkiri gbogbo àgbáyé a máa sọ̀rọ̀ nípa topic tí mo fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí but ikùn mi ṣì ń kọrin lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí tí nìkan mo mu látàárọ̀ aago 12 dẹ̀ ti lù wẹ́lẹ̀ ní tinú la fi ń ṣe tìta Owólabí Azeez mo mà kí ẹ so mo wo báwo la ṣe fẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ mo wo fídíò kan tí mo lè play fún wa tí ok bí a ká gbọ́ ṣé ká play Harold Smith yẹn kókó tún jẹ́ reminder it will be about 20 minutes but mo lè má lò tó 20 minutes kí n tó padà wá sórí desk mi lọ́dà kí n kàn fi wọnú kitchen kí n wo tí mo lè jẹ́ ń bẹ̀ jàre ilẹ̀ wa ṣe program pẹ̀lú wa máa jack for care mo máa kí yín grandma mọ́mí mi Felicia Àjàgbé mo kí yín ṣó ẹ kórí bẹ́ẹ̀ àti àfáàjẹ́ lílì don cast ẹjẹ́ àfàwọn yẹn sílẹ̀ erépa lọ́n ṣe lórí social àwọn èèyàn ìmọ̀ tán pè ní foreigner a máa negotiate pẹ̀lú Tinubu ẹ wo topic yẹn dáadáa topic mo fi sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí ẹ jẹ́ kí n sọ topic yẹn fún wa èyí tí mo kọ sí topic tàárọ̀ ẹ̀ mo ní Professor Adebanji Akintoye Oracle Ysdm would continue to ask federal government of Tinubu to discuss the way out. Ṣé kan pè mí ni? My brother mà ló ń pè yìí. Mo máa wà lórí program my brother. How you dey? No, it's okay. Màá pè tí bá ṣe tán. All right then, ẹ ṣe gan ni. All right. Àwọn èèyàn dáadáa nìyẹn. Gbogbo yín náà nìyàn dáadáa. Gbogbo yín pátápátá. Mo kí bàbá wa Steve lóge video kan circulate I'm not sure whether ti Emefiele ni so too many fake and tán ṣe owó kankan. Mo kí ìyàwó Miss David ìyàwó Gbémilékè mo mà kí yín. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin olólùfẹ́ platform wa so interfaith discuss lórí náà ní negotiation Mr. Yemi Matthew Bukola
orúkọ obìnrin nìyẹn máa jẹ́ náà Bùkọ́lá ọkùnrin náà máa ń jẹ́ Bùkọ́lá Yorùbá lórúkọ tó daṣá màá jẹ́ ẹ má wọrí nípa owó tó bá ń gbé báwa kọ́ lọ́wọ́ ìbáwọn tó ń dáwó sọ́dọ̀ wọn ni ẹ má wọrí gbogbo páwọn yẹn tẹ̀ máa mention pọ̀ wọn ń gbowó lórí platform wọn gbà tó ń ṣe ìpèjà àwọn kan láti àdówó àwọn tó ń dáwó mọ tó ń dáwó fún náà so ẹyẹ kọ́ máa dá doesn't matter ẹyẹ kọ́ máa dá síbẹ̀ kò matter. They were exposed on Ìjìnlẹ̀ program last night. Irọ́ ni o. Àìmá bínú òǹkà message yẹn dáadáa. Wọ́n ní they have been collecting money from people into their own personal account. Money meant for the struggle. Wọ́n ní wọ́n expose wọn. Ìjà máa dé nìyẹn o. Ṣé ẹ kó níbẹ̀ ní láìpẹ́ irú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn o? Ó máa jáde fún Ìjìnlẹ̀ tán. Wọ́n ní wọ́n ń gbowó lórí platform wọn tó yẹ kó máa lọ sínú struggle. Okay. Àmì ò tí gbẹ èmi ò lọ sọ́dọ̀ Ìjìnlẹ̀ lánàá mo wo program tó ṣe lánàá àná ẹ̀ mo bí orí títì mo wà throughout lánàá gbogbo náà ṣàlẹ̀ rí bí ṣe tún wọlé báyìí mo kọ ohun tí mo kó dàgbà tó di 20 minutes to 6 mo ní ṣé mo ní wá dìde fún Star Radio báyìí ọ̀dọ̀ mà ṣàánú mi kẹ ohun 1 hour ni mo sùn bàbá mi Ọládi méjì náà sọ pé ó wà serious gan àmúwọ̀dọ̀ lọ́gbọ́ Ìjìnlẹ̀ nìyẹn máa lọ gbọ́. Nesto ṣé Ghana lẹ́wà ní because Ghana flag lélẹ̀ mo kẹ́hìntẹ́ wà ní Kútọ́nù Côte d'Ivoire Togo níbo làwọn African countries ọdún tó ń gbọ́ Kóìkì dáadáa náà Kenya mo kí àrólé bàbá 1010 èyí ti South Africa àìtí ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ program mo kàn ṣe ẹ jẹ́ kí n play video yẹn so that kí n kàn fi dìde kí n lọ wá nǹkan jẹ at least mo mọ̀ pé video yẹn máa last 20 minutes. Mọ́mí wa Yèyé Olútóyọ̀sí Àbọ̀olúwa ẹ ṣé gan ni àdúrà gbogbo wa máa gbà mo mọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ Abdullahi bó tẹ̀ sọ fún mi mọ̀ kó nífẹ̀ẹ́ mi tó pọ̀ Ọlọ́run nífẹ̀ẹ́ yìí náà Ọlọ́run lẹ nífẹ̀ẹ́ kò ń ṣe mi o everywhere in Africa worldwide. Mo kí gbogbo àwọn ọba Elégùṣì fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ nípa Yorùbá nation ní kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ kábíyèsí. Interesting. Tinubu má máa ṣe tán tó bá ti ṣe tán yẹn ọba ìkílẹ̀ máa ṣe pẹ̀lú àwọn mọ́là ẹ jẹ́ àtètè ya jẹ́ ká negotiate kí gbogbo aká wà lójú kan gbogbo aná làjọ máa wà nínú country yẹn náà kí ló wá lè tó yìí gbogbo alájọ máa wà nínú Yorùbá nation ní pé ní Nàìjíríà òṣì Nàìjíríà kọ́ Nàìjíríà ni ó ti stable ní sí àbí ó ti wà ní full grade so YouTube ti stable gbogbo ẹ ti stable ta ló fẹ́ gbé nínú ilé tó wà lẹ́yìn mi ní Kwara State ta ló máa kọ́kọ́ bá a kọ́ rulé ní Kwara State kọ́mẹ́ǹtì kan ń bọ̀ tó ní mọ́mí mi Mariam ní madness group of people we love you and Igboho ṣá bẹ́ẹ̀ ni màmá tó dáa èèyàn kan post comment kan ní sìnmù rẹ̀ mo bí tí comment yẹn ti wá because sometimes comment máa ń wá láti mo rí comment kan ní sìn lórí tí comment yẹn jáde sórí YouTube ló ti jáde mo rí comment mo rí mọ́mí wa màmá dáadáa Tóyìn dáadáa Àjàyí ẹ ṣé gan ni mà ẹ̀yin màmá lálùbáríkà ẹ̀yin màmá Kóìkì yàtọ̀ sí màmá tó bí mi ẹ̀yin gangan náà tó bí mi náà gbogbo ilẹ̀ ti bá mi sọ̀rọ̀ Kóìkì ṣe báyìí máa sọ̀rọ̀ báyìí mo dẹ̀ ń gbọ́ sí lẹ́nu ọmọ dáadáa ni mí náà bọ̀ kò sí bá ṣe fi ṣe program àwọn kan máa ẹ bí ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ program láàárọ̀ ẹ̀ ọmọ àlè kan tún wá dàbẹ̀rù kí ló máa ń ṣẹ̀yìn tẹ̀ wá lè ná there will always be somebody tó máa ṣàwá fẹ́ dagboru kọ́mẹ̀ntì kan ń bọ̀ mo rí kọ́mẹ̀ntì yẹn ó dà ń pẹ́ látòrí Kóìkì Odùduwà ni ẹ jẹ́ ń lọ chẹ́kẹ̀ kọ́mẹ̀ntì kan ń bọ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan ok ẹ jẹ́ ń ṣe báyìí eléyìí ló yẹ kí n máa fi wo kọ́mẹ̀ntì a ti ṣe program yẹn dé 1 hour 30 minutes or so kó tó di pé mo lọ gbójú pé wọ́n níyàn kan bú mi lórí kí lẹ̀ ń bú mi fún ṣé mi mo bà Nàìjíríà jẹ́ ni èyí kan mo bà Nàìjíríà jẹ́ mo máa kí Alájà Àyìnkẹ́ mo kí princess náà ọkọ ya ni good afternoon akọgun of media èèyàn kan ní no volume bí a nígbà tí à ń ṣe switch over volume wà o no volume kẹ so ẹ yẹ kí n kàn play kankan then kí wá padà wá ẹ kúkú ń pè sórí program ẹ ti fi dá mi nísìnyí pé mi ní kí n máa sọ̀rọ̀ lọ. Bàbá wa Adébáyọ̀ ní I love you Koiki for your good job. Nigeria is all NEPA country. So alright ẹ jẹ́ kí n lọ ẹ jẹ́ ká play just a reminder. Ẹ jẹ́ ká kọ́kọ́ play Bàbá Akintoye no picture lele. Ẹ jẹ́ ká kọ́kọ́ play UNPO one yẹn ká wá move further. Ta ló rántí orin yẹn dengode post dengode denge òun làwọn onítìrì dengode post wetin you get you no get nothing. Ta ló rántí orin yẹn ẹ rántí sister wa yẹn àkìlọ̀ ṣe ọdún ẹ̀ tó jáde oya Tolúlọpẹ́ nìyẹn 24 years old wọ́n pàdánù. Àṣekú ti ń bọ̀ lọ́dọ̀ ẹ̀ kábíyèsí Elédùmarè ẹwọ́n ọmọ ẹ̀ ló ṣe ń jó àwọn tó kún ọ́ kó dísè ó mọ máàsì orí bó ṣe wà ẹ́ máàsì tó wà lórí ẹ̀ kákúlétọ̀ ni ó pàdánù Nàìjíríà. Tolúlọpẹ́ ló tilẹ̀ nìyẹn o tẹ́ bá mọ̀. Oní sísítà wa kan ọmọ Kogi ni wọ́n same part of Kogi ni àwọn ti wá. Ikú bèbí ó dùn wọ́n gan-an kọ́lọ́mbà ń dúró ti gbogbo yín ẹ̀yà ará Kogi state. Òun ṣe ìyá Kogi o mo gbọ́ dí òyà ọmọ ìyá Kogi lánàá ẹ mọ̀ pé mi ò ní táìmù gbogbo àwọn kan bẹ́ẹ̀ àwọn ọmọ olúkà gbogbo wọn kọ́ bá máa dé pẹ̀lú ọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ọmọ ìyá Kogi náà ti fohùn sílẹ̀. Ọmọ ẹ máàsì tó wà lórí ẹ̀ calculator ni wọ́n padà nù 24 years old. Tí Nàìjíríà bá lè pààyàn báyìí ẹni tó jẹ́ hero Nàìjíríà tó pa báyìí kò sẹ́ni tí Nàìjíríà ò lè pa. Wọ́n ní àfa àjẹlílé àti ṣọ́ ẹ̀kọ́ níbẹ̀ wọ́n náà ti kówó jẹ ṣọ́ ẹ̀kọ́ níbẹ̀ máa jáde padà fún jìlẹ̀ ó máa gbà sí fún jìlẹ̀ rẹpẹtẹ wọ́n ṣẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ni. Bàbá Owólabí ọmọ tẹ́hìn tó ń jọ yìí mass tó máa wà lórí ẹ̀ further mass tó máa wà lórí ẹ̀ because àti máa dín pẹ̀lú electronics ó gbọ́dọ̀ mọ mass electronics lẹ́fí ń ṣeré yìí kó má lọ join nǹkan papọ̀ kó má lọ blow wọ́n wá ní wọ́n reverse mọ́tò reverse ó wá pa ẹ tún fún mi ní ìyá Kogi ẹ fún mi ní ìyá Onítìrì mo ní mò ń tẹ̀ fẹ́ ìyá Onítìrì bàbá Èkìtì ló máa fẹ́ ìyá Onítìrì ìyá Kogi mo ti sọ ìyá yẹn kò stable ìyá yẹn tí mo bá sọ̀rọ̀ ní bí around April wàláì mo tún pè Ìgbòho mo connect wọn pẹ̀lú Ìgbòho wọn sọ kábàkàbà. Àwọn tí Tinubu dé Prince Aláwọ̀ àìtí ìjà o ẹ mọ̀ pé ẹ̀ bú mi ìbéèrè lẹ́ ń béèrè ẹni Mr. Man why don't you see good thing about Nigeria ẹ jọ ṣé ẹ lè pè sórí program mo bẹ̀ yín torí Ọlọ́run àbí kẹ́ fún mi ní nọ́mbà yín ẹ send message sí mi ibikíbi tẹ́ bá wà ẹ pè mí nọ́mbà mi ló wà lókè yẹn ẹ wá bá mi sọ reason tí mo gbọ́dọ̀ rí nǹkan tó dá nínú Nàìjíríà mo bẹ̀ yín ni o ẹ mọ̀ pé Prince ẹ mọ̀ pé mo bá yín jà Prince Aláwọ̀ Abdulhakeem ẹja fi àtìríyàn kan tó ti ta sí wa níbí báyìí ẹni Mr. Man mo ṣe Mr. Man Ọláyọmí Kóìkì ni mò ń jẹ́ Kóìkì Media so next time ẹ respect mi dáadáa ẹni Mr. Kóìkì òun ni Mr. Man nígbà tá à ń ṣe àwọn aláta ọmọ elépo ẹni why don't you say anything good in Nigeria ẹ jẹ́ kí n lọ wo profile yìí dáadáa lẹ́yìn kí lorúkọ yín náà Prince kílẹ̀ pera yín mo dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé àwọn tó bá jẹ́ Prince ọmọọba ni yín so lágbára Ọlọ́run àjẹkẹ́ jọba nílẹ̀ Yorùbá tẹ́ bá ti wá jọba tán kí politician máa nà yín lẹ́gbàá kó máa determine ọba yín sẹ́wọ̀n pé àwọn ọba wa nísìn abẹ́ politician ló wà tí ọba bá fẹ́ travel nísìn á lọ sọ fún politician tàbí torí èmi wá sí Nàìjíríà mo dẹ̀ mọ àwọn palace tá a dé tí kò sí ná so ìbéèrè tẹ́ ń bi mí yẹn èmi wọ́n wá ń bi nísìn ok mo ti rí yín dáadáa nísìn ok Lagos lẹ́wà mo dúpẹ́ fọ́lọ́run ṣé business yìí ni ibi tẹ́ dúró sí lẹ́yìn yẹn Bongari Petresi ó dà pé àbẹ travel lélẹ̀ mo wo picture yín báyìí o wow any good business ọlọ́run fà lùbáríkà sí you always see ẹni sùúrù ilẹ̀ sọ́nà ẹni sì ẹni you always see positive things about Nigeria níbo ni positive náà wà níbo ni positive náà wà Prince ẹ ṣe bá mi pè sórí program kájọ yanjú ẹ ọlọ́run bá wà pẹ̀lú yín ẹ mọ̀ pé àbára wa jà ìbéèrè ni mo dẹ̀ láìkì àwọn suit tẹ wọ̀ yìí àtàwọn ago tẹ fi sọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ ní January 2022 mo mọ bí tẹ ti ya picture ẹ jàre side ibi tí àwọn ṣé GT tí ẹ mọ̀ pé GT ló máa ń tún roundabout ṣe èmi náà ti lọ ya picture níbẹ̀ ọlọ́run bá wà pẹ̀lú yín ṣe rí ẹ láìkì Nàìjíríà tó mi àṣírí mo sọ fún yín yẹn kí ni mo sọ fún yín Prince ẹ fẹ́ràn Nàìjíríà tó mi ẹ tí béèrè lọ́wọ́ mi pé kí ló dé tí mo ṣe sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ no ẹ má pọ̀ wọn lọ́mọ Fúlàní wọn kì í ṣe ọmọ Fúlàní ẹ fi wọn lẹ̀ ìdí tí mo ṣe sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé 2015 tí mo padà wá sí Nàìjíríà project mo fẹ́ ṣe sínú Nàìjíríà màá ti beat project ẹ̀ ń ṣe lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ owó tí mo ti run sínú Nàìjíríà as a person mo rò pé tí ìrún owó bẹ́ẹ̀ mo sorry gan ok ó dáhùn pé iná ń travel níbí báyìí ẹ máa ń travel gan àbí very good now kí ló ń pè ní Nàìjíríà Prince kí ni wọ́n ń pè ní Nàìjíríà ẹ jẹ́ ká kọ́kọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ tá bá ní Nàìjíríà ẹ jẹ́ lọ change background mi ẹ jẹ́ gbé picture Nàìjíríà wá because ẹ̀ ń sọ nísìnyí pé ká fẹ́ràn Nàìjíríà àbí pé mo fẹ́ràn Nàìjíríà now mo wá ń bi nísìnyí Prince pé kí ni ẹ fẹ́ kí n fẹ́ràn nínú Nàìjíríà ẹ̀yin ẹ̀kọ́ fún mi ní answer ẹyọ kan pé Koiki nǹkan ẹyọ kan mo fẹ́ kó fẹ́ràn nínú Nàìjíríà kí lẹ fẹ́ kí n fẹ́ràn nínú Nàìjíríà ìyẹn ni mo fi sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ jẹ́ lọ gbé Nàìjíríà wá fún yín mo máa ń like challenge ṣe rí pé èèyàn mọ̀ pé ọmọ Yorùbá à ń bára wa jà ọ̀rọ̀ ní kò kàn yéra wa ni ẹ̀yin bí mínísìn pé eléyìí ni máa gbé sẹ́yìn ẹ̀ debt ẹ má sá lọ Prince o ẹ̀yin lẹ dọ́rọ̀ lẹ́ o ẹ má sá lọ ẹ jẹ́ ká jọ yanjú ọ̀rọ̀ yìí dáadáa o. As an intelligent man, I want to say, as an intelligent man, I want you to say good thing about Nigeria. Ẹ bọ̀ náà ni mo bí pé ẹ fún mi ní nǹkan tó jẹ́ yọkan tí máa fi sọ ọ̀rọ̀ nípa Nàìjíríà. Ṣé security? Ṣé economy? Èmi sọ fún yín pé mo sì mi sá kúrò Nàìjíríà ní 1991. Ẹni kì í sọ good about Nigeria. Dọ́là tẹ́yìn fi ń ṣe business. Mo rí pé ó dà pé máa ń travel, mo ti lọ wo background image yìí. Bó bá jẹ́ pé Dubai lẹ́ ń lọ ẹ máa ra dọ́là láàárọ̀ ẹ ní $600 600 naira to $1 Nigeria produce you ṣe rí gbogbo Nigeria produce you yẹn etí British sọ fún wa nìyẹn ẹ̀yẹn fìyẹn sílẹ̀ ilẹ̀ mi pé Nigeria produce wa níbo ni Nigeria wà ní 1913 mo ní kẹ́ pé wọlé kájọ sọ̀rọ̀ ká gbọ́hùn yín ẹni Nigeria produce you so tí Nigeria produce you níbo ni Nigeria wà before 1914 ṣẹ́mọ̀ tó ń pè ní amalgamation ṣe ti gbọ́ rí ṣẹ́mọ̀ tó ń pè ní amalgamation ẹni Nigerian produce me ẹ pè wọlé +44 ẹ rántí kẹ́ fi kóòdù sí +44 there is nothing called Nigeria okay Prince Alawo Abdul Hakim kò sí kankan tó ń jẹ́ Nigeria British or Britain ló provide orúkọ tẹ́ fi ń pera yín ní Nàìjíríà there is nothing called Nigeria okay ibi tí mo ti kọ́kọ́ knocking out yẹn kò sí kankan tó ń jẹ́ pé Nigeria produce anybody ṣé mọ̀ pé wọ́n parọ́ fún wa nígbà tá a wà ní secondary school wọ́n ní River Niger was found by Mongo Park tẹ́ bá sì ń believe yẹn that means pé tí mo ti kò bó kan ṣe ń lọ so mo wá rí nísìn pé ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá tẹ́ ń wà nílé ẹni Nàìjíríà ló produce èmi our country is our country that kò sí nǹkan tó ń jẹ́ our country bàbá ìjàre ẹ̀fẹ̀ ẹgbẹ́ kó bó ti ń jẹ yín lọ kò sí nǹkan tó ń jẹ́ my country kí ló ń jẹ́ my country ṣé kí lẹ mọ̀ tó ń pè ní country ẹni my country our country is our country either good kò sí nǹkan tó ń jẹ́ Nigeria is not a country Prince mo lè bá yín ayọ̀ yẹn délẹ̀ Nigeria is not a country kí ló ń pè ní country. Kí ni wọ́n ń pè ní country ṣé mo tó ń pè ní country you don't know what is called a country so using even narrative tempicita ó ṣò pé ẹ̀yin wà òkè nínú Nàìjíríà but intelligent yín pé nípa pé à ń sọ̀rọ̀ country ẹ̀ mọ̀ rárá ìtìyàn bá dẹ̀ mọ̀ no mo educate wọn ni because wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ gbé information yìí lọ sọ́dọ̀ ẹlòmíì wọ́n pọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ o wọ́n ní kí n fi sílẹ̀ but part of bá a fẹ́ educate àwọn èèyàn náà lélẹ̀ because arákùnrin tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí nísìn is ẹni tó bá rí wọn tó wọ suit yẹn nísìn yẹn á rò pé wọ́n wà exposed kò sí nǹkan tó ń jẹ́ Nigeria as a country is a fraud. Nigeria was put together for the economic reason of Britain. Maloja nísìn. So there is nothing called Nigeria. So the word Nigeria shows that pé ẹ̀yin fúnra ara yín tẹ́ pera yín ní ọmọ Yorùbá yẹn prince yẹn ní understanding kan tó ń pè Nigeria mo kí mọ́mi wa grandma Dúpẹ́ Agboola. So using the word pé you were produced by Nigeria no number one Nigeria kọ́ ló produce mi ìyá tó bí mi àti bàbá mi lọ́jọ́ sunrun tọ́dẹ̀ bí mi wọ́n bí mi sínú ìlú tí British change identity ẹ̀ tó ń pè Nigeria kò sí anywhere tó ń pè Nigeria so I'm now gonna play so video Harold Smith la máa play kìlọ̀ fìrí wọn kàn ti máa jẹ Prince ẹ má sá lọ ẹ jókòó kẹ́ gbọ́ ti Harold Smith sọ ó dà ń pé as many of you tẹ́ wà Nigeria yẹn lóòótọ́ kò ń ṣe gbogbo yín náà ni ẹ wà ń through politics or anything but understanding yín nípa Nigeria ó lò gan and is part of the history tọyọ kúrò ẹ káàárọ̀ mọ́mí wa grandma Dúpẹ́ Agboola ọ̀nà Adéọlá Mokimba bàbá so there is nothing called Nigeria and I wish you will understand that mo ò bá yín jà ẹ̀rí pa àbúrò wa but one thing I can say is Prince mo bẹ̀ yín ẹ má lọ síta kẹ́ sọ pé yes lóòótọ́ wọ́n project pé Nigeria is a country but nísàlẹ̀ kò sí nǹkan kan tó ń jẹ́ Nigeria. Nigeria is not a country and that okay maybe I should start with this ẹ sọ pé Nigeria is a country oh Jonathan da ẹ ká kọ́kọ́ play yẹn bí ẹ ká kọ́kọ́ gbọ́ ilé ẹ gbọ́ ilé náà ẹ jẹ́ ká play ilé Prince ẹ má sá lọ ẹ gbọ́ ilé náà tá bá play ilé tán máa play ti Jonathan so that kẹ́ lè mọ̀ pé kò sí. Please, how many companies did you have to help people in Nigeria before abuse the good country? There's nothing good about Nigeria. Bàbá ìkẹ́ bó ṣe ń ṣe yín lọ jàre kò sí nǹkan tó good in Nigeria. A ní Nigeria is a country. Ẹ̀gbọ́n kan tí George Akinola sọ níbí.
Impediment to Yoruba development is the impediment to Oodua development. Without Nigeria, we won't be where we are. 1962, we were far ahead of South Korea and North Korea. We were far ahead of China even. We had television before France. We had radio before South Africa. Now look at where we are today. I think it's a shame that even any Yoruba man can be talking about restructuring at this point in time. What are we restructuring? This country that is already shot to pieces? I don't think that's what we want. But they are always talking about giving Nigeria a chance.
Prince sọ pé giving Nigeria a chance. It shows that mo sorry gan. Understanding yìí mo ní bóyin pé ìtorí pé àríra tó ta bá ríra náà tá a máa bára wa jà ní no but understanding yìí nípa Nàìjíríà understand ẹ má parọ́ intercom ní pé wọ́n bí gbogbo wa sínú Nàìjíríà inú Nàìjíríà láti operate láti 1960 but ǹjẹ́ yìí mọ ìpínlẹ̀ Nàìjíríà ǹjẹ́ mọ ìpínlẹ̀ Nàìjíríà so ẹ̀yin wà mo kíyàwó Àbíbá mo dẹ̀ kí dáadáa Prince ẹ̀yin wà lára àwọn tó sì assume pé ìlú kan wà tó ń pè Nàìjíríà because information tó fún wa nìyẹn but ẹ kọ́kọ́ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ tí ẹ̀gbọ́n wa ìsọdélẹ̀ tán ká tó wá play ti Jonathan.
The case of Yoruba Nigeria has come to an end.
If you don't allow we Biafrans to go, that zoological republic called Nigeria will be a worse place than Somalia, and today it is happening. And if you have not applied for your Somalian visa, please try and do so. That's a Somali visa. Try and do so
as quickly as possible because the zoo is on the path of destruction, and there is nothing man can do to reverse it. Mark today's date and what I'm telling you. Nigeria will be destroyed beyond human comprehension.
Thinking about.
Mo mọ̀ pé ọ̀rọ̀ Nnamdi Kanu yẹn máa bí inú gan Prince. Mo mọ̀ pé ẹ̀yẹ́ tàwọn Igbo gbogbo èèyàn náà ni Igbo náà láìkì yín wọ́n ti gbẹ̀ kó mọ́ gbogbo yín lọ́wọ́ ẹ ṣáà make sure pé ẹ keep property dáadáa. Prince tẹ bá gbọ́ fídíò Jonathan yìí tẹ bá tún sọ pé Nigeria is a country á jẹ́ pé kò sí nǹkan tí mo lè sọ fún yín ju pé understanding yín nípa nǹkan pé Nigeria kò lè yé yín mọ́ eléyìí ń ṣọ̀rọ̀ bí a panel conversation à ń sọ ní bíbá à ń sọ̀rọ̀ maturity mo fẹ́ fídíò yìí tá a máa play nísìn wàláì tàláì súnmọ́ bí láì 2 minutes 18 seconds ni mo fẹ́ kẹ́ farabalẹ̀ kájọ gbọ́ kẹ́ wá kọ́mẹ̀ntì padà ẹ má ti kọ́mẹ̀ntì nísìn no àṣẹ máa bára wa ti bá wá Nàìjíríà gan sẹ̀ tábàjọ jókòó lórí pẹpẹ sùn sáà máa bára wa jà ní nígbà tá à ń ṣe idiot people bí àwọn ṣó ẹ̀kọ́ rí bẹ́ẹ̀ irú ṣó ẹ̀kọ́ rí bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ ti ń bára wọn jà ẹ farabalẹ̀ kẹ́ gbọ́ bíbá ẹ̀ Prince 2 minutes 18 seconds ní fídíò yìí tẹ́ bá gbọ́ tán ẹ wá express kí ni understanding nìyí because ṣe mọ̀ pé Jonathan ló fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ nísìn Jonathan is a former president ó sì lọ kí Tinubu gbogbo alamọ̀ yẹn ẹ farabalẹ̀ kájọ gbọ́ 2 minutes mo dẹ̀ ní interrupt tẹ́ bá ti wá gbọ́ tán mo fẹ́ kẹ́ comment pé ọ̀rọ̀ nígbà mo ní kẹ́ pè wọlé bí ẹ̀rẹ̀ ń bẹ̀rù ni ẹ̀ ní láti bẹ̀rù nọ́mbà mi ló wà lókè yẹn +44 yẹn but ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́n tí Jonathan sọ kémi gbẹ́nu mi dákẹ́.
How we've been having this conversation about the unity of Nigeria. And I reflect back at some of the prominent statements made by some of our founding leaders. And I feel that probably this will help us to have a conversation on the Nigerian unity. I just brought four, not to bore you. First, and I quote, not my statement, Nigeria is not a nation. It's a mere geographical expression. There are no Nigerians in the same sense as there are English, Welsh, or French. The word Nigerian is merely a distinctive appellation to distinguish those who live within the boundaries of Nigeria from those who do not. This is accredited to Chief Obafemi Awolowo, the former Prime Minister of the Western region. The second one, and I quote, it is true that we politicians always delight in talking loosely about the unity of Nigeria. 60 years ago, there was no country called Nigeria. What is now Nigeria consisted of several large and small communities, all of which were different in their outlooks and beliefs. The advent of the British and that of Western education has not materially altered the situation, and the many and varied communities have not knit themselves into a composite unit. This is accredited to Sir Ahmadu Bello, former Premier of Northern Region. The third, and I quote, since 1914, the British government has been trying to make Nigeria into one country. But the Nigerian people themselves are historically different in their backgrounds, in their religious beliefs and customs, and do not show themselves any sign of willingness to unite. The Nigerian unity is only a British intention for the country.
Prince, kí lẹ gbọ́ níbi tí ẹ gbọ́rọ̀ dé yẹn, ṣé ẹ gbọ́ understanding tí Jonathan sọ níbẹ̀ yẹn ṣá? Ṣé kí n tún ṣe àyàngbífọ̀ ẹ̀ àbí ẹ understand ẹ̀? Oh yes, kí lẹ ìhòòhò àbọ̀rọ̀ má bẹ̀rù, I don't fear anybody, only God. Kí la ti sọ nísìnyí tẹ́ tó sọ̀rọ̀ lọ́hùn? N tó máa ń sún mi pè láwọn èèyàn wa nìyẹn. Kí la ti sọ nísìnyí tẹ́ tó ń gbọ́rọ̀ lọ́hùn jáde nísìnyí? Kí la ti ń sọ nísìnyí? Ẹ ní láti gbọ́rọ̀ àbẹ́yìn náà tún gbọ́rọ̀ dúpọ̀ ní tìrì ni. Ẹ ó ṣe jẹ́ pé tá a bá ti ń sọ̀rọ̀ kéékèèké báyìí ọ̀rọ̀ Ọlọ́run lẹ máa kọ́kọ́ máa tì síwájú. Ẹ fi Ọlọ́run sílẹ̀, my dear brother, it is Nigerian spoil Nigeria, we will get the fault. Bàbá yóò dá kọ̀ọ̀kan mi. I'm gonna leave you alone. You are not getting the message. These are the stumbling block that we have at home. So gbogbo tí Jonathan sọ nísìn, ìtẹ́ ń rí bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé Nàìjíríà ló spoil Nàìjíríà. Yéèo, ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa ṣe rí pé ọ̀rọ̀ táwọn sọ lójoojúmọ́ kò gbọdọ̀ stop. Ṣe rí pé awareness tá à ń ṣe yìí kò gbọdọ̀ dúró fúnjọ́ kan. Ṣe rí pé ẹ nídìí platform tó yẹ pé iṣẹ́ tiẹ̀ ni pé ojoojúmọ́ tó bá ti ń jí báyìí Yorùbá nation nìkan ni kó máa sọ. Ẹ̀gbọ́n tí Prince tún sọ nísìn, Prince tún sọ nísìn pé my dear brother, yes, mo dẹ̀ like ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn. Ṣe rí pé àwa Yorùbá ìta máa ń lò nìyẹn. Ṣe rí pé ìtí bàbá Akintoye náà lò nìyẹn. My beloved brother, because brother lájọ jẹ́, but brother wa to understand pé a kì í ṣe Nigerians. Wọ́n ti ní kí n lọ jẹun. Prince ẹ jẹ́ play the last one. Ẹ máa gbádùn yẹn náà. Dr. Ugu nìyẹn. gbọ́ ti Dr. Ugu náà yẹn máa tó 5 minutes so kó tó tán màá wá play nǹkan míì. Prince, thank you so much for joining the broadcast this afternoon. But kò sí nǹkan tí mo fẹ́ sọ understanding yẹn ìjáyàjáyà mo kí gbogbo ilé ẹ̀kan sí. You are not going to get the message. So ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ Dr. Ugu.
They wanted to be separate from the country that the British Empire had imposed on us, which was this country of Nigeria, where they kind of took a bunch of independent nations who don't have anything to do with each other, don't even speak each other's language, don't relate. Many of them were even enemies and warring at the time, smushed them all together and drew these arbitrary lines around them and called them countries and named those countries.
Right.
And then said, now y'all get along and do a country for us and be a union for us. And then go through, contentious, bloody independence processes that never really yield any real independence. You're still part of a commonwealth afterwards.
True.
And you have the eternal meddling in your affairs and the eternal extraction of your resources and the eternal fomenting of divisiveness and infighting in order to be able to control you. This is what an oppressor does, a colonizer does. These are tactics and strategies of dominance.
Right.
We were subjected to that as a larger unit of Nigeria. And then when the Igbo people said, we want our own thing, let's go and do that. Well, it so happened to be that the territory that this new country of Biafra was going to be in included very, very rich oil reserves. And the British were not going to let go of that.
Wow.
And the people that they had put in power, their puppet Nigerian governments weren't going to do that either because they needed it for the Nigerian project.
Right.
And Britain needed it for its own interests.
Respond. More like question that any why Jonathan stole Nigeria? This is a debate and we like challenges. Emma worry oúnjẹ mi ti wà ńbẹ̀. Cherry reason tí a ṣiṣẹ́ ń jẹ́ Nigeria nìyẹn is because the structure tó jẹ́ Nigeria ṣì yẹn exist. Níjọ́ tí structure yẹn bá wá sílẹ̀ ìyẹn la ṣe ń sọ pé a fẹ́ gba Yorùbá nation. Àwọn Biafra ṣe sọ pé àwọn fẹ́ Yorùbá country. Àwọn náà sọ pé àwọn fẹ́ Igbo country. Àwọn náà fẹ́ Yorùbá nation country. Ìjọ́ tí yẹn bá ti ṣẹlẹ̀ kò ní sí nǹkan kan tó ń jẹ́ Nàìjíríà mọ́. Jonathan ò ní jẹ́ ọmọ Nàìjíríà mọ́, a máa jẹ́ whatever ìlú tó bá jáde látara tiẹ̀. So mo ní understand nǹkan tí ẹ ṣe ń sọ pé kí ló dé tí Jonathan sì jẹ́ Nàìjíríà, kí ló dé tí Koiki òun pariwo Yorùbá nation. Tí structure yẹn bá ti wálẹ̀, kò dẹ̀ sí ọgbọ́n ẹ̀ tí structure yẹn ò ní wálẹ̀ because at least as an educated man as you are, ẹ ti gbọ́ pé àwọn ìlú kan náà ti break rí. Àwọn ìlú wo ló break rí? Màá mú fídíò ẹ̀ jáde, mo máa prepare ní background. Wow, taba ti gbọ́ Dr. Ugu. Thank you so much for enlightening us. Prince, mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín. Ní láti bú Prince, understanding ni. Ibi tó yé wọn ọmọ náà fi ń sọ̀rọ̀. Wọ́n ń ṣọmọ Hausa, wọ́n dẹ̀ ń ṣọmọ Fúlàní. Kò gbọ́n understanding ẹ̀. Wọ́n ní kí ló dé tí Jonathan ṣì ń jẹ́ Nàìjíríà. Tí Jonathan bá ń sọ. Jonathan ń sọ history fún yín. Ìtàn tó jẹ́ kẹ́wọn àwọn parents wa tó yẹ kó sọ fún wa bọ́ọ̀ sọ fún wa. Òun la ṣe ń gbé jáde ní méjì mẹ́ta mo kí grandma ìyá mi Comfort Ológunjà mo kí ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Ọlátúnjà ó fẹ́ sọ. So understanding nìyẹn pé kí ló dé tí Jonathan ṣì ń jẹ́ Nàìjíríà is because that word Nigerian has been removed. Has been the word tí Jonathan ọba fi jẹ́ ọmọ ìlú ẹ̀ gangan wọ́n ti yọ kúrò ní 1914. So wọ́n ti change the narrative yẹn both Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba. We all contribute backward of Nigeria. No, irọ́ lẹ pa. Kò sẹ́ni kankan tó contribute. Irọ́ lẹ pa níbẹ̀ yẹn. British gangan ló dá wàhálà sílẹ̀. But ẹ jẹ́ gbọ́ Dr. Ugu tán. Màá wá play the other video which will cover my screen. Ìyẹn Arodo me. But for now, ẹ gbádùn Dr. Ugu ìtàndélẹ̀.
And uses. So, Great Britain got directly involved in this civil war. And in the war for independence, and decided that they would do everything to make sure that Biafra did not go.
Wow.
And this everything meant directly funding genocide of the people of Biafra.
They drink, they fornicate, they do all the things that all human beings do. So it's not a question of religion. There's no question of anybody being truly a Muslim there. You know, even I knew a chief judge who was supposed to be leading Muslim prayers, who anytime he came to me in my official residence, he would put a brandy or whiskey in a mug and be drinking, and they would smoke and all that. So I don't think it's religion. When they started this Sharia, how many of them are obeying the Sharia? How many of them? No, not none of their leaders. So it's not religion per se, but they use religion to deceive people and say Hausas were not Muslims at all. So they say, well, let's give you a superior religion, we'll give you Islam. But that didn't apply to the South, because we've had Muslims in Yoruba land even before 14th century.
So truly, what we are fighting against, or what is going on, is clash of culture.
And civilizations.
And civilizations.
That's right.
Not really the Fulani versus the Igbo, or the Fulani versus the Yoruba.
No.
It's clash of civilizations.
Yes, clash of civilizations and clash of cultures. Yes, you're right.
That means we have not really integrated as a people.
Never. We have never been.
So the word the Nigerian people is a fallacy. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Because, again, in those days, you will say, there have always been Igbo markets, Hausa markets in Enugu. There have always been Sabos in Shagamu. But those Sabos were occupied by Hausas. Hausas are peaceful people. We traded in Kola North. We did even the few Fulanis that came with them at that time, when you had the Sabo in Shagamu or in Ibadan here, they would still look for one Fulani man and make him their Seriki.
How did the Hausa accept
they were subdued. They were subdued.
Despite their large number.
Yes, they were subdued. Of course, they killed, they ruined, they extirpated their 7 kingdoms. They killed their 7 rulers and took over under the guise of religion. Another thing they used, they used the word corruption. Oh, your people are corrupt. We are saints. Your people are corrupt. They've always used the word corruption to deceive people.
But the jihad is over. How come the Hausa man is yet to claim that Hausaness again?
It's just now that the efforts we are making in the South have begun to yield fruits. You will be surprised to hear that now in Hausa land, we now have Hausa Christians. Never had that before. Never. You now have Middle Belt Forum that are saying we are not Northerners, we are Middle Belters. We are not Northerners. Don't call us Northerners. Now, when you see a Jukum man or you see a Lantan man and you say you are Hausa or you are Fulani, he will be angry. He may even draw his dagger. Don't call me Fulani. I'm not Fulani. I'm not Hausa. What we did not know until recently is that when you call a Fulani man Hausa, he will be angry. He will say Banzani. Because he knows that I'm superior to Hausa. Can you say I'm Hausa? But before now, before Buhari came to establish his suzerainty over Nigeria, we all lumped all of them together. We're Northerners. And like I wrote some 4 years ago, there's no North. There's no North that we used to know. The North is dead. There's nothing called North anymore.
So there's a Fulani now standing on his own.
He's standing on his own. There's no more North. If they try any war today, oh God of mercy. The kind of cohesion you had in the army, the military in 1966, will never happen again in this country, if there is a country at all. You will not find a Hausa soldier now, an Igbo soldier going to Enugu to kill a fellow Igbo. You will not even find an Igbo soldier coming to Ibadan to kill a Yoruba man, or a Yoruba soldier going to Enugu to kill an Igbo man. It will not happen again. So the Lantan people, the Benue people will never ever allow themselves to be used by any Fulani mischief maker.
So if I'm getting you right, your argument is that the Fulani hegemony has been broken.
Dead.
If the Fulani hegemony has been broken,
yes,
does it mean that the social structure of Nigeria is about to witness a very hard hit that will lead to a new Nigeria?
Yes, for those who agree with you to the extent of the fact that there are still some people who want a Nigeria, a group that I don't belong to. But for such people, yes, with the weakening of Fulani hegemony, there could be a Nigeria that will integrate the Soba Fulanis, the town Fulanis, and still reconstruct, rebuild, and then have a Nigeria that should be. But I, as a person, as Tola Adeni, believe that it will take probably 1,000 years to change the mindset of a Fulani person whose philosophy is kill, maim, rape, send away people from their land and let me occupy it.
That is the bush Fulani.
It is the bush Fulani.
Not the town Fulani.
Not the town Fulani.
And the town Fulani is more in number.
No! The town Fulani is less than 1%.
How did you get that figure?
Oh, go and find out. Let them allow a sense. Who are the town Fulani? There are very few. The ones who have in Abuja. Or the few that dot spaces in Sokoto. I'm sure that that Sokoto, as we speak, is not a Fulani town.
Is it not?
No, that's a mistake we make. Zamfara is not a Fulani town. There are more houses in Zamfara than Fulani. There are more houses in Kano than Fulani.
But the Fulani govern.
They are a town. They are in charge.
Yes, so it's their town.
Yes. By subterfuge, by cunning, by crookedness, by all sorts of gimmickry.
Or by integration.
Not integration, by intimidation. And I said they are politically savvy. What they did to the rest of Nigeria, when they realized that the Fulani in the military, they could no longer use the military to retain power indefinitely. Since they've had power, they had access to the treasury, they say, oh yes, Edmond is from the east, or wherever, brilliant man. He may likely oppose us and contest with us and rival us. Let's make him an ambassador. Let's give him an oil block. Let's make him a billionaire. We padlock his mouth. Let's get an Abiola, make him a billionaire. Let's get this, let's get that. And make them big. They will never be able to look us in the face. Then we can continue. Looting the treasury, we can continue. And once when we are in control of the treasury, we are in control of everywhere. So we can hire thugs, we can do whatever we would like. And that is why they introduced what I call plutocracy into Nigerian political etymology. Plutocracy.
Meaning?
Plutocracy is the government of the rich.
Yeah.
Oligarchy is the government of the muscle men.
Come to the program.
Thank you.
May I say how delighted we are to be on Passion. We've looked forward to speaking to an African television station for decades. This is something we have looked forward to for such a long time, and we are so happy to be here.
Thank you. Mr. Aaron Smith was a young, bright, and principled Oxford University graduate who was recruited by the Colonial Office and posted to Nigeria. He took his final examination a year ahead of his class. He also married Mrs. Carol Smith, whom he met while they were both at Oxford University. Together they went to Nigeria, where they had their 2 children. Mr. Aaron Smith, you were featured in a program recently by BBC Radio 4, titled Document, and that was hosted by Mr. Mike Thompson. You were alleged that the British government rigged the first and most important election in the history of Nigeria in 1959 in favor of the North. Am I correct?
Yes.
How long were you in Nigeria for?
From 1955 to 1960. And we were based in Lagos. I was on the staff of the Department of Labour. I was largely occupied with employment problems, all the employment exchanges, and statistics, and international reports, and was kept pretty busy. I was also stationed in Lagos in charge of the capital and the port. I was the port labour officer as well, and I also devised a port labour scheme and later a social security scheme, which was one of the first in Africa, which guaranteed workers some income after they'd finished work. It was a providence scheme. As I say, it was called the National Providence Scheme, and I was very proud to have put that on the statute book.
I was going to ask you what your role is. You've mentioned 3 important. Is there any particular name given to your office while you were there?
Just labour officer.
I was a labour officer, a senior civil servant.
Okay.
I only intended to stay in Lagos initially for 2 tours of duty. Although, because of this conflict with the elections, there were difficulties. Actually, government wouldn't let me leave the civil service. They were determined that I should stay in the civil service after my 2 tours. And I was offered very considerable incentives, including a knighthood, to stay and work for government. Primarily this was because I had access to state secrets. I learned, and the Governor General himself confirmed this to me, that the elections were rigged, contrived. The intention was that the North should rule Nigeria. Even in '56, the northern leaders were very proud and were saying, if they couldn't run Nigeria, never mind elections, they might not join Nigeria, they might leave. And we all thought, well, how would they survive? There were no industries, there's not a great deal of agriculture, some groundnuts in the north. This wasn't very practical at all. And then it was, the Governor General seemed to be thinking that the North couldn't, even if it won an election, rule Nigeria by itself. The South wouldn't stand for that. So there had to be a partner, either the Igbos in the east or the Yoruba in the west, to team up with the North. What he didn't want was for the 2 southern parties, the Igbo and the Yoruba, to team up to form the government, because he believed the North wouldn't tolerate that and talked about leaving the federation. So as I learned, in a small way at first, but very rapidly I learned about the election fixing, and as I say, this was confirmed to me by the Governor General. He actually said that he wanted me to know the truth because he wanted me to know how much trouble I was in.
You mentioned statistics, you were collecting figures. Yes. Is that for labor and unemployed people only, or general?
Primarily, but obviously my interest was in the population
of generally. Nigeria.
Yes, and Awolowo, the Yoruba leader of the action group, yep, and Chief Enaharo, they too, other people were saying, where are all these millions of people in the north? Where are they? We're going up there to campaign. We want to know, And you see all these, thousands of miles of not very developed countryside, and yet the northerners are claiming that their voting registration figures are larger than in the south, larger, far more people up there. Well, actually, if you went through the Igbo land, Enugu and that, you saw lots and lots of people. If you went to Ibadan, again, Ibadan teeming, with millions of people. But we didn't actually see many northerners, and obviously not many northerners at that time came to Lagos. So this did arouse suspicion. Now, the Europeans, not stupid, we are watching what's going on in Nigeria, and we too are beginning to feel there's something not quite right here, that maybe the elections are not going to be as straightforward as they're meant to be. Nigeria was being described as the showcase of democracy, and it was expected that the nationalist leaders would win through. But actually, when the election results were announced by the Governor-General, before the vote was even in, he didn't count for that, he didn't wait for that. I have to tell you, the British were counting the votes, and the British cannot be trusted. They look after their friends. Loyalty is the big thing for the British, and we were friends with the emirs of the north. We looked on people like Inaharo and Awolowo as rather dangerous people. They might even be communists. That's ridiculous, actually. They couldn't be communists in 1,000 years. But this was a sort of thing that was being said. And we were, Europeans, were getting a bit worried about all this. It wasn't quite the honest, straightforward election that we were hoping for.
Apart from Professor Anderson and Dr. Patrick Wilmot that supported your submission on the rigged election, there were other people who also served in the colonial office in your days. I mean, who opposed to this submission?
Initially, I was warned of what was going on by my senior officer, a Major Bunker. I didn't know, and I knew that the Governor-General had directed me to take all the office staff of the Ministry of Labour to help Chief Okoti Igbo in politicking in Warri. And this was most irregular, and I refused to do this. Having refused an order, I know what the drill is. You resign. I resign my post. That is the proper thing to do. What they did then was rather devious. They persuaded me to withdraw my resignation, and when I did, they sacked me. It didn't go through, but I thought it was a bit low after I'd resigned and was prepared to leave the country. This was not very nice behaviour. They later withdrew this and said that I had been of some service to the state, and actually commended me for what I had done, and said I could leave Nigeria with splendid testimonials, and we shook hands on this. And this was done with the recognition of the Deputy Governor-General, Sir Ralph Grey. And then I left Nigeria the first time and took up a job as a personnel officer, a very big job, with the Esso refinery. And then government came after me, declared that I was a traitor, and I had betrayed the British people, ought to be imprisoned, and I lost that job. And then they came to me again and said it's all been a big mistake, dreadful mistake. I'm a jolly decent chap, Oxford chap, and they put me on a plane straight back to Nigeria, where I'd make up for the time I'd been away. There was a great deal of good work for me to do, and we fell for this. We shouldn't have gone back, but we did.
Now, if you recall what you said about the role of the Governor-General and the attitude of the British government in particular, regarding the fear that Awolowo, Okoti Igbo, and the lot of them from the south are dangerous. Is there a particular reason? Why the fear from the British government? Is it that they don't want to release or relinquish Nigeria? They still want to control Nigeria?
They knew that the North would do as they said after independence. If it had any, the North would just, because it was their habit, they liked the British, whereas the nationalists were an unknown factor. Actually, when they took the flag down and hoisted the Nigerian flag, not one of the major nationalist politicians was there. They weren't even on the platform. This was incredible. These were the people who had sought independence. The people in the North didn't want independence. They didn't want the British to leave. So this was a farce. And for most Europeans who were very close and watching this, we were disgusted. We thought this really had been manipulated, this election. It was unworthy. It was unworthy of the British people, this. This was no honest, straightforward thing that you would expect Britain, the mother of parliaments, to do. This was cheap and low and criminal. And I opposed it. And I opposed it then, and I've opposed it ever since. And I'm telling you the truth. And I was warned, if I told you this state secret, my life could be forfeit.
Earlier on, you said the British government wanted the North in alliance with either of the southern region, either with the Yorubas or with the Igbos.
But
without which they cannot
they can't do it this
rule the country.
The problem was that Awolowo was a highly principled man.
Okay.
You didn't talk to Awolowo about squalid deals and fixing things. Awolowo was not that kind of person. If you read his books, this man was a world statesman. And his young lieutenant, Chief N.
Colin Thorncare Harold Smith. Baba Akintoye reference to him in I think letter Takosi Buhari. I'm not going to argue with that man anymore because I can see that they are all just stump block. But they know the right thing, but they're living in denial. So I'm not going to waste my energy. I've done what I can explain to him. And it's just playing, it's playing around. It's playing me. And I'm not going to give that room anymore. Let me take this call. Hello? About mute background. Mute background. Mute background. About mute background. The thing about the program, please. But they're not the right thing. But they're living in denial. Lè máa gbọ́ra yín nínú ilé ká tún máa gbọ́ra wa gbọ́ yín. Ẹ̀ka sọ.
Hello, ẹ̀kú ètò.
Ètò nìyẹn.
Ẹ̀kú ètò.
Ètò nìyẹn sọ.
Ọlọ́run á máa ràn wá lọ́wọ́.
Àmín lọ.
Inú mi dùn láti yẹ́sọ̀ sí orí prógrámù ilé ni. Ẹ jọ̀wọ́ mo fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀. Ẹ tẹ̀ má bínú sí àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ tí mo fẹ́ sọ. Ṣé ń gbọ́ mi?
Ẹ máa sọ̀rọ̀ la ń gbọ́ yín sà.
Ohun tí mo ṣe dá sẹ́kúrẹ́tì mo mọ̀ pé ohun tí ẹ̀ ń ṣe ó lè dára náà ni.
Ọgbọ́n yín sà.
Mo dẹ̀ ń wo gbogbo fídíò tẹ́ ń ṣó yìí pátápátá lóòótọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ló ṣe rí. Ṣùgbọ́n nǹkan kan tí mò ń fẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ wò nípa wa ni pé àwa tí gbogbo wa ń jà fún ètò lẹ́yìn àwa díẹ̀ láwọn ọ̀gá ara wa o. Ṣé ẹ rí bí ó ṣe wọ́ láti ìsàlẹ̀ wá yẹn?
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni sà.
Tó mú kó wọ́ àwa èèyàn wa ẹ̀ náà ló mú kó wọ́. Ṣé láwọn British kan sọ ìkan ẹ̀rí game kan play? So game kan play yìí òun náà ló fún àwọn tí wọ́n gbé agbára lé lọ́wọ́ ní chance láti máa rò pé àwọn làwọn ní property. But nínú ọ̀rọ̀ ẹnìkan tó sọ̀rọ̀ síwájú ẹ rí pé àwọn èèyàn wa náà ni wọ́n ń lò tí wọ́n bá ti fún wọn lówó àbọ̀ fún wọn níwò. Àwọn èèyàn tí wọ́n ń lò yìí nínú wa náà ni wọ́n pọ̀ jù wá lọ. Ṣé ẹ rí tí a bá gba orílẹ̀-èdè gangan àwọn èèyàn yìí náà ló máa kọ́ńtéènì nínú wa. Ṣé ẹ rí bí àwọn èèyàn tí wọ́n bàjẹ́ tó bá papọ̀ tí wọ́n jẹ́ ká so mọ́ àwọn tí wọ́n jẹ́ ká wò lọ́wọ́ orí sí kan so mọ́ àwọn dáadáa míì tí wọ́n ti sọ ìwọ̀n àwọn èèyàn yẹn ò kúrò àwọn èèyàn yìí náà láàjọ bá ta nígbà.
No, mo disagree pẹ̀lú bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣá jẹ́ kí n kọ́ mi díẹ̀. N tí àwọn tìjọ́ náà lọ́hùn tó mọ̀ òun làwa ṣẹ̀ mọ̀ wọ́n mọ gbogbo eléyìí gbà yẹn o. Ẹ má ẹ̀ka parọ́ fúnra wa ọ̀dádì. N ta ṣe mọ̀ nísìn ọ̀rọ̀ máa ń ta gbọ́tàn it was in 2007. I'm sure pé àwọn tó yí bàbá owó tọ́jọ́ ṣe pẹ̀lú bàbá owó lọ́wọ́ gan-an mọ̀. Àwọn bàbá olówó gan mọ ipa tí Britain ń kó lẹ́yìn láti fi destroy wọn tọ́ba tẹ̀ mọ̀ díẹ̀ ni but because of the new archive of information tó ń jáde òun ló ń fún wa ní understanding okay èèyàn mélòó ló mọ̀ nípa 1999 constitution. Mo gbọ́ sà.
Tí wọ́n pè ní destruction yẹn kì í ṣe destruction kí wọ́n rò pé wọ́n àgbẹ̀ Britain ò ní intention bí tó ti destruction lọ́wọ́ àwọn wọ́n bí nípa àwọn èèyàn smart ẹnu àwọn lè ká àwọn èèyàn yìí tó ti yín sìn wọ́n mọ̀ pé àwa ò ní gba ìgbàkúgbà àbí wọ́n àwa náà ti lu pọ́ǹpù tẹ àwọn bàbá yìí.
ìyẹn lọ ṣe okay because I interact ní sinimá biro and that's why they will give Tinubu the backup he needs just to keep that formation going. But in the long run, when we have a nation, we will be competing with them based on whether the people to see to jẹ́ ọ̀dàlẹ̀ ní kò sí country tó sọ ọ̀dàlẹ̀. Bí German ṣe wà nísìn, a sì láwọn tó ń dalẹ̀ against the German and British. So gbogbo yẹn is just a normal thing. But the most important thing is yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Ó dẹ̀ wù mí kí orílẹ̀-èdè wa dáadáa. Bọ́lá ṣe sọ ìwòrí mú máa kan tó ń pè TNT tó sì sọ̀rọ̀ kí lorúkọ student lò pé àwọn èèyàn wa gan níbà wọ́n ń ṣe oríṣiríṣi ìkàtúntò.
Ṣẹ́rí ẹni sùúrù bàbá ṣẹ́rí gbogbo àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn táwọn sọ yẹn àwọn the basic things ló ń discuss. Ẹni tó bá ṣì ń sọ pé ọ̀rọ̀ Tinubu nǹkan mo ti sọ pé gbogbo tí Tinubu máa lò àwọn nǹkan tí ní kí n máa sọ fún pé 8 years mọ́ 4 years ló ṣì lò. Gbogbo tó máa lò kọ́nà fún alẹ́mì gúngùn àwọn ọ̀hẹ́tẹ̀ 2031 ni mo máa ń sọ tẹ́lẹ̀ bọ̀ àwọn èèyàn ló ní kí n máa sọ 2031 mọ́ 4 years ló ṣì lò. By 2031 gan tó bá tẹ̀ gba the next 4 years Tinubu will be 87. What next? Ọ̀rọ̀ student la mama ask ọ̀rọ̀ student ṣe gbogbo yẹn àwọn yẹn the basic things là ń sọ làwọn èèyàn ń discuss yẹn current situation ni gbogbo àwọn TNT ń sọ èmi ń sọ projection of the next mo sọ nínú program mi pé ibo ni Yorùbá máa wà in another 200 years by 2023 èmi ẹ̀yin gbogbo wa kọ́lọ̀ fún alẹ́mì gúngùn will be gone by 28-23 and that's 800 years a máa ti wà ní 29th century ṣọ́rọ̀ student lò lẹ́ máa sọ nígbà yẹn no we are talking about a long term. So no ó dá báwọn yẹn ṣe ń discuss gbogbo àwọn nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn because these are the current situation of things there is nothing wrong in that mo ń gbọ́ yín.
ẹ máa gbọ́ láti fi wà àwọn èèyàn hàn àwa tí wọ́n dẹ̀ ń fi hàn bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ni àwa tá a jẹ́ Áfíríkà yìí.
Okay.
Pé ìwà tá a máa ń kan lẹ́yìn odi tá a bá débẹ̀ kan tá a bá rí opportunity ká tó wá sọ ní ìlú bàbá wa.
Àwọn English àwọn ẹni sìnkú ẹni ẹ jẹ́ kí n kọ́kọ́ sọ yẹn àwọn English ló ṣiṣẹ́ yẹn gbogbo pé à nífẹ̀ẹ́ ara wa níta àti nínú ilé iṣẹ́ ọwọ́ àwọn English nìyẹn mo gbọ́ yín.
Ẹ wo ìgbà tí ẹnìkan wà náà lórí ẹ̀ jẹ́ pé ó sì kú. Ó sọ ìwọ olùdó fẹ́ wù nípa ṣọ́ọ̀ṣì ìyí àbí nǹkan tó fẹ́ lọ.
Gbogbo ẹ̀ lèmi náà ti gbọ́.
Nígbà tí akọ́kọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ló bá lè fi yàtọ̀ fìtì ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ gan ló wò pé kí Tinubu tàbí àwọn ọba kan jọ ìwà ṣùgbọ́n àgbà àfìgbà kúrò lè ní Tinubu yìí ṣé tí Tinubu bá jọ ìwà gbà yẹn ẹbí lè pè tó kò ní ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀ tó bá ẹ̀ jù wá.
No now is another argument níbẹ̀ yẹn. Ṣó máa fowó sílẹ̀ kò fẹ́lẹ̀ sílẹ̀ àti kọ́kọ́ gba territory ṣe rí the most important thing tí ẹ̀yin ò tí ì get ni pé ṣé nísìn kí bí Tinubu ṣe wà nínú system pẹ̀lú àwọn Fúlàní àti pé kó join Yorùbá nation kájọ wà nínú the same territory because the first thing tá kọ́kọ́ pé nullify ni pé identity arákùnrin kan nísìn òun kàn sọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà pọ̀ ọmọ tó ń pè ní identity so identity yẹn gangan ó wà important nínú UK ṣe okay kí lè rò pé ṣe ẹ mọ okay mo mọ bí akérè ẹ sọ pé UK lẹwà ṣe mọ reason ti Boris Johnson ṣe tó ṣe resign kó má bàa probẹ̀ dé sálẹ̀ kòkò ló ṣe resign so they are smart so kò sí pé bá ṣe ní pé Tinubu bá join ní Yorùbá nation ìyẹn tó bá join Yorùbá nation as at the time ó fún wa ní better way pé a ti kọ́kọ́ máa gba identity wa àjọ máa wá ṣe tó ń pè ní politicking àjọ máa pe tó ń pè ṣé ó ṣe ní bí Tinubu ṣe wà bẹ́ẹ̀ nìsín tó ń lo 1999 constitution lórí èmi àti yín tó ó favour wa ni tó bá gba Yorùbá nation yẹn a máa draft the constitution mi mo sọ nípa Mali máa lọ vote níjọ́ Sunday on the 18th for a new constitution ṣé kò jẹ́ kí Tinubu propose fún constitution amendment change not even amendment.
ẹ máa gbọ́ mi ṣàkóso tàbá tiẹ̀ wá sọ ẹ̀wọ̀n pé jésù tó bá tiẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ gbogbo ìlú àwọn kan báyìí ká kó bá ní lọ́kàn.
Kò lè ṣe nígbà because ó ní ambition wọn kò fẹ́ ṣe because ó ní lọ́kàn kò ní lè yẹ.
ṣé mo pé kò rí èrè òkú èmi kan gbà pé kò ní lọ́kàn láti torí pé òun gangan ìlú òbí ní ìwòye ẹ̀yìn fò kan kó lè gan ṣe gan apá ìta kan tó wà nílẹ̀.
Oh yeah, definitely gbogbo èèyàn mọ̀ yẹn.
Tó ti yé yín ṣùgbọ́n ìwúrò tí èmi rò bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé à ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa bíbọ̀ tí a bá gba ẹ̀yìn kan tí a bá gba nǹkan tí ò bá bíbọ̀ wa ojú kan náà ló wà.
No. Ẹni sùúrù dádì. Kí ló dé tí regional ẹni sùúrù dádì? Ẹ jẹ́ ká jọ ẹni sùúrù. If not, ẹ mọ̀ pé number one, ẹ interrupt because àìtí gbà pọ̀ mo kàn gbé wọlé ni. So now, èmi ni mo ẹni sùúrù tẹ́ ẹ bá ti agree pẹ̀lú mi there at 8 minutes is a waste of time. I'm gonna cut it. Mo sorry gan. Èmi mo ni program. Èmi mo ń control narrative mi bíbá. Because mo ti ní káwọn èèyàn pè wọlé mo fún ní preference ni. That's fine. Now, ṣé nígbà tó ń ṣe regional government ṣáà rí ṣe? So kí ló dé ta ṣe rí ṣe nígbà yẹn?
Torí àwọn èèyàn ló wà.
So kí ló wá fún yín ní impression pé àní Yorùbá nation yẹn ṣe?
Ìgbésẹ̀ tí mo ní ni pé àwọn tó fẹ́ darí ní Yorùbá nation àwọn èèyàn yẹn irú àwọn èèyàn tí ó yáwó lọ́wọ́ yìí ló sì ń báyìí tó gbọ́pọ̀ ọmọ ìgbé agbára àwọn èèyàn burúkú yìí ìgbé kò pọ̀lú ojú àwọn èèyàn kan tó jẹ́ kìlọ̀ tó fẹ́ sí orí kìíní tó yẹ pé táwọn náà bá dẹ̀ nílò aṣọ pé àwọn kan resign nínú tó dé mẹ́ta àwọn èèyàn ti wà tí wọ́n bá rí nǹkan tẹ̀lé kí wọ́n resign wọ́n á kàn jọ ìmọ̀ wá ṣe tó
wà. The same thing náà ẹ tún padà sẹ́yìn nìyẹn.
Ọlọ́pàá báyìí.
Ẹni sùúrù dáadé because we are in ẹni sùúrù gbogbo yìí lẹ́ ń sọ yẹn it's because we are in a system that is not working. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n fún ní one clear example and I'm going to cut off because mo ní láti move further to the program. Ẹ tún lè pè lẹ́yìn tàbá. Now nígbà tí mo dé lùí ní 1998 ọlọ́pàá bá dáhùn dúró tó bá ní oníṣọ́ránsì á sọ pé yes oníṣọ́ránsì. Ṣé mọ̀ pé kò lè confirm insurance yẹn lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ pépà lásán la máa ń fún wọn ẹlòmíín ṣe insurance yẹn ìjọ yẹn ló cancel ẹ̀ tó bá ti gba document wọ́n wá realize pé tí mọ́tò bá wá l'accident ẹni tó náà wọn ní insurance ó wá di pé insurance yẹn kò wà valid mọ́ ó dẹ̀ sì ń lo insurance yẹn for 1 year òun dẹ̀ ti cancel ẹ̀ kò sanwó mọ́ kí lẹ́rù pé wọ́n ṣe wọ́n upgrade the system. So èyí tẹ̀ ń sọ pé àwọn nǹkan tó da àwọn nǹkan tó da kódà mo sọ fún yín pé Boris Johnson ìdí tó ṣe resign ẹ̀rù kémi politics bíbá ìdí tó ṣe resign ni pé kọ́ má bàa fi gbogbo ṣẹkẹ́ṣẹkẹ̀ ẹ̀ sí lẹ́sẹ̀ tán so ó resign so in the sense that pé ṣé ká bá gba country ṣé torí ẹ̀ nísìn ká dúró sínú Nàìjíríà ká máa lo narrative with different identity ṣé bá ṣe ń lo identity tó dá nísìn ṣé òun ló dá ní no kò ní kankan ṣe pẹ̀lú pé ayé ti Tinubu àwọn tó ń support APC àwọn náà ní that impression mo dẹ̀ sọ fún wọn pé enjoy 8 years èmi wá ń bi àwọn tó ń support Tinubu yẹn pé tó bá di 2031 tẹ́ bá fẹ́ lọ dìbò àwọn èmi ò ní bá yín dìbò ṣé náà tilẹ̀ máa dìbò fún torí pé Haúsá kọ̀ọ̀kan ní àláò Yorùbá kẹgbẹ́ jáde mọ́ kódà ní primaries gan wọn ní àláò bẹ́ẹ̀ bá kó gbogbo Yorùbá síta ní primaries wọ́n máa make sure pé north lọ́ máa gbé lọ fún now it will be between the north and the south east mo wá ń bi ká tó máa lọ fáwọn tó náà endorse Tinubu yẹn ta ló ibo ló máa dìbò yẹn sí sọ́dọ̀ Ìgbò ní àbọ̀dọ̀ Haúsá ní 2031. So tí ẹni ẹ bá wá débẹ̀ gbogbo wàhálà tí Tinubu bá ṣe ìyẹn bàbá wa Tinubu tó ń ṣe wàhálà lọ tó ṣe bọ̀ tí ẹni ẹ bá débẹ̀ tó bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí change gbogbo ẹ̀ because ó máa change ẹ̀bí Tinubu ṣèbí Tinubu ló yọ AFCC já ìbí tẹ̀fẹ́ kó yọ gbogbo wọn kó Yorùbá síbẹ̀ nìkan ká marginalize wọn náà díẹ̀ kò mátà. But that is just a short-term situation. So that is about it. So I'm going to go now because after the 12 minutes, yeah. Okay, but again, any sùúrù níbo lẹ́yìn ti rí violent nínú kan tá a ti ṣe láti ibi tá a ti ń gbé bọ̀. Ṣé mo tán pè ní violent? I'm sure pé mo tán pè ní violent. Ẹ fi ṣẹ́rí no ẹ̀yin àti àwọn family yìí kọ̀ọ̀kan ẹ̀ kí n bára yín jà. So tẹ bá ń jà yẹn ṣe violent lẹ́ ń ṣe nínú ilé yín àbí ní external because mo mọ̀ pé àwọn family kọ̀ọ̀kan a máa ń ní. There is nothing violent ẹ bá wọn tó ń pè ní violent ni ẹ lọ wo àwọn IRA ní tó ń pè ní violent ni there is no violence in Yorùbá nation. Even our utterances is not violent because àìtí kò bọ̀ síta àìtí nọra wa nígi nísàlẹ̀ voice la fi ń bára wa sọ̀rọ̀. ìyẹn náà là ń ṣe lọ so non-violent ni. ọ̀dà I'm gonna let you go ìrọ̀lẹ́pa tó bá dogun gbogbo yẹn àwáwí nìyẹn ogun lọ́njà ní Ukraine tí mo monitor lójoojúmọ́ lórí social media. So you see we have as many people that want Yoruba nation but they are still having this mind pé ẹ jẹ́ ká keep Nigeria ẹ jẹ́ ká save Nigeria. They lè save Nigeria. Saving Nigeria is as not saving your life. We are talking about identity of people. The identity of people and discuss the identity of people that are important, indigenous people. So how can you say, negotiate pẹ̀lú Tinubu like Olekasi, even though he hasn't responded? So the topic today is all about negotiation, consultation, diplomacy. Mo ti sọ fún yín láàárọ̀ nípa United Nations ẹ lọ wo program tààrọ̀ yìí. So all these sentiments tẹ́yìn tẹ́ ń fi ṣe nítorí pé Tinubu wà níbẹ̀ is a temporary measure. Tinubu is just a temporary measure. He is not going to be there forever. Tinubu ò kì í ṣe ọba tó ń control gbogbo Nàìjíríà. Sultan of Sokoto gan control Nàìjíríà ju Aláàfin lọ àti ààfin àti ikú bàbá yèyé àti ọba Ọ̀jájá gbogbo ẹni mo fi sọ. Sultan of Sokoto ó ní iyì jù wọ́n lọ níta because gbogbo tó bá fẹ́ wá sí Nàìjíríà àwọn English yìí tó ń pè ní English whether British àwọn tó kù wọ́n máa kọ́kọ́ lọ sọ́dọ̀ Sultan wọ́n fún Sultan of Sokoto ní mọ́ ọ̀wọ̀ ju ọba ilẹ̀ Yorùbá lọ I'm sure pé irú àpá àwọn kan mọ̀ yẹn wọ́n fún ọba Sultan of Sokoto wọ́n fún ní ọ̀wọ̀ ju àwọn ọba ilẹ̀ Yorùbá lọ so kí la wá ń jà fún ṣé ìjà tá à ń jà ṣé ìjà Tinubu ṣe student loan kí ló kàn wá pẹ̀lú student loan temporary measure ní gbogbo yẹn kò bá máa ṣe student loan ó gbọ́dọ̀ run government na we expect Tinubu to run a government we expect Bola Tinubu your president to run a government ṣé kó wà níbẹ̀ kó máa run government ni he has to run a government and he has to form a government and forming a government does not mean he has to now disagree with our own views as Yoruba indigenous people. We are indigenous people. Bola Tinubu knows the history. Ìyẹn ni lẹ́tà tá a kọ sí Òṣèpọ̀ 7 page ni as compared sí Buhari ọmọ Fúlàní. So this notion pé ẹ̀rí bàbá ìṣe gbé lọ ó wà no ìmọ̀ lọ́wọ́ pé níbo ló ti wà violent. Ṣé gbogbo rally tí Ìgbòho tá a jọ ń ṣe pẹ̀lú bàbá Akintoye tí ó wà violent ni ẹ má parọ́ náà kò violent. Nigerian police gan ló ń violent wa. Kò ní ṣàwọn nìkan lọ violent wọ́n violent gbogbo ẹ̀yàn ọmọ wa ní EndSARS àwọn tó ń ṣe EndSARS of believe in Yoruba nation but akẹ́dùn pẹ̀lú wọn náà we cried with them we were upset we were angry pé kí lẹ paná fún because of ordinary protest kí lẹ parọ́ fún but I think so many Yoruba people as much as mind and heart ni pé bá ṣe ń pariwo Yoruba nation ká lọ close the chapter kí Tinubu máa run government náà tó bá wá ṣe tán ibi tó bá wá lọ ká wá tún wá open chapter ní irọ́ lẹ pa tó bá jẹ́ yẹn ni agenda yín mo sọ pé irọ́ lẹ pa so since bàbá yẹn ti pè wọlé Samuel open the phone line and let other people have their own voice. It took 12 minutes of my time and I'm sure understanding èmi àti wọn láàárọ̀ yìí kò ń ṣèjà but most of you tẹ́ ń wò wá ní ilé àti ní abroad mo fẹ́ kẹ́ reflect ṣé identity là ń jà fún ni ṣé future là ń jà fún ni àbí à ń jà torí pé a love Tinubu ká wá fi ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá nation sílẹ̀ a lè fi Yorùbá nation sílẹ̀ o mo ní mi ní last man standing bó bá ti rẹ gbogbo wọn energy tèmi ṣe ń bẹ̀rẹ̀ yìí ẹgbẹ́ òsókè ẹ̀gbọ́n mi.
Mr. Boy.
Ǹgbọ́n sá.
The Lord bless you.
Amen.
Ọmọ àti aya àti màmá wọ́n dúró jẹ́ gbàgbàgbà ò ní fojú sunkún.
Láṣẹ Èdùmàrè.
Àwọn náà dẹ̀ ní fojú sunkún ẹ̀ lórúkọ Jésù. Mo tètè pè wọlé because mi fẹ́ kí máa tó sọ̀rọ̀ tán yẹn kó ọ̀rọ̀ ti pọ̀ lórí ẹ̀ so that a lè fún lésì díẹ̀. Irú wọn pọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ sà. Òun náà máa gbọ́ báyìí irú wọn pọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n pọ̀ nínú Yorùbá movement nígbà yẹn gan. Kẹ́rí àwọn èèyàn wọ́n wà so much myopic in thinking. Now, ìkẹtẹ sọ yìí ni mo jòrò láti fi 3 years ago. If eventually tí Tinubu bá pọ̀ nínú iṣẹ́ yìí, is a temporary mayor. Kẹ́rí gbogbo nǹkan tó ń ṣe yìí, nǹkan tó ti gbé sínú ni o. Oró ló ń foró yaró ní báyìí. Either anybody like it or not. Tinubu ń fi oró ya oró ni. Of course, tó bá ní miss àníkàn lọ gbé Buhari. Gbogbo wa dẹ̀ máa pariwo, a máa yọ̀. Kẹ́rí àwọn tó ti ṣára wọn lọ́gbẹ́ tẹ́lẹ̀. Ẹ̀san ló ń ṣe lọ́wọ́. It's not that people they want to be violent ó sì kù tó máa lé yọ. Àwọn tó ti go against it by one way or the other. Ọ̀hún tó ti mú àwọn ọmọ ìta àwọn kankan tó ráyè ṣe. He's going to do many things. Àwa dẹ̀ máa inú àwọn Yorùbá máa dùn bó ti ń kọ́ ọmọ wa síbẹ̀. That is what is killing us. It's even happening in the churches. Pé ọmọ wa ni agbélómi síbẹ̀. That is why churches are like that. It happens everywhere. Kẹ́rẹ́ kan tó ń ṣe yìí is temporary. Then ẹ jẹ́ ká mọ̀ wípé kò tí ì tó kó dáadáa. Bí ipò nìkan ló ṣe ń ṣèjọba ní báyìí o. Àwọn kan ṣì ń wò bóyá ó sì máa bóyá àwọn kan ṣì ń dúró àwọn Haúsá yẹn ó sì ń dúró kí ni situation kan tó máa bá jáde kí ló máa bá jáde ni. You cannot be doing it smoothly like this and àwọn Haúsá yẹn máa wò. Gbogbo nǹkan tó ń dáṣe wọ̀nyí ó sì máa padà sí Senate tán bá ṣẹ́tù tán. There are some politics tó máa vote fún. Any policy tó bá fẹ́ vote fún ní House ẹ gbàgbé pé àwọn Haúsá ló máa gbé the majority. Ṣé ọ̀pá bí òtán gbà fún? Tìtò wọ́n sì ń pẹ̀pẹ́ ni. Let me tell you, ẹni tó sọ̀rọ̀ tán yẹn, ó sọ̀rọ̀ Tinubu ṣé Tinubu nìkan ló fẹ́ ṣèjọba ni? Is it the only one tó fẹ́ ṣèjọba yẹn? A kàn máa jókòó báyìí, a máa dájẹ́ pa nínú yàrá ẹ̀. You think that is how the government is made on? Bẹ́ẹ̀ni àwọn èèyàn kan wà lẹ́yìn I don't know. Ṣé ẹ rí nǹkan tó wà bẹ́ẹ̀? I am still going and continue to say this mo sọ ní ìjẹta mo ní you were going to make reference to what I'm saying. Ṣé ẹ rí gbàtàn bá settle tán pátápátá tí gbogbo ẹ̀ settle tán everybody tí court party ẹ̀ kan ti wá rí pé bóyá ó ṣe lọ ni bóyá ó ṣe máa dúró. By the time tó bá rí bó dúró tán ẹ máa rí báwọn Haúsá máa yọ dúkà. I am telling you this, believe it or not. Gbogbo ẹ rò pé ọmọ wúbà ọmọ tó yọ yẹn rò pé ní wọ́n dùn sí. They are not happy about it. Ọmọ EFCC tó yọ yẹn. I am very sure no more to see. Mẹ́fẹ̀lẹ̀ àwọn ọmọ Ìgbò ti ń pariwo pé wọ́n ti sọ pé kí ló dé pé kinní kan. Whatever. Everybody try yẹn ọmọ wa yẹn náà ṣì sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí. Which cannot settle anything. I was telling somebody yesterday that forget about it. Pé bóyá ìlú yẹn pẹ́ nìkan máa ṣe sẹ́. No, it is more than that. Wọ́n náà gba student loan. Number one tó yẹ kọ́kọ́ béèrè ni pé owó wo náà bẹ́ẹ̀ bí ti náà finance ẹ̀. That's the first thing. Owó wo náà bẹ́ẹ̀ bí finance kìíní yẹn. Àwọn èèyàn kí ló ń lé gbogbo bẹ̀ yẹn o. Jẹ́ àwọn tó bá tó kọ́mítì tó bá tó yàn yẹn gan-an. Tí wọn ò tún ní kówó yẹn lọ. Jẹ́ ẹ̀yin gan tínú yín dùn ọmọ yín mélòó ló máa ní opportunity torí àwọn alágbára yẹn náà ló máa kó fọ́ ọmọ wọn. What are we talking? Máa tó sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn ó kàn sọ àwọn tó wọ́n lẹ́gẹ̀ẹ́ni. Tinubu ti wọ bẹ̀ báyìí náà wọ́n ní ẹjẹ́ kó máa ṣe lọ. Wọ́n gbàgbé ìtàn ni. And my brother, there is nothing anybody can do in that nation. I kept on saying it. Tó gbàgbà bá ṣètò tán ẹ máa rí jókòó àwọn Haúsá. Àní gbọ́dọ̀ wọn ni mo tó kó tó mu wà ẹ máa rí jókòó àwọn. Before you know, one of them fish. Take my word. God bless you and I borrow Lord.
We will open the phone line since it's still part of the discussion negotiation. Kò síbi kankan tíyàn wà láyé tí kò ní negotiate. Nọ́mbà tẹ́ máa pèsè òun ló wà lójú òfurufú nínú broadcast yẹn tí a mọ̀ sí +44 hour live presently now. Ẹ̀tọ́rẹ́ ẹlòmíì máa ń gbọ́ program later. Tí ẹ bá ń wò ó, dóòrùn máa máa show live fún yín but we are live presently now and the time is just 40 minutes past 1 p.m. local time in London. Èyí ni 15th of June 2023. Bàbá rẹ̀ tó fẹ́ pè, I will allow the calls to come in as we continue the discussion. +44 04 405917. My name is OLAMILEKAN. I'm expecting a signal láti tíìmù wa kan ní ibi tí event kan ti fẹ́ jáde ní Oshun. So hopefully, if I get that signal, we will migrate this program slightly into it. But so far, Moitiri signal. So, but if the signal comes, we might switch to that event. While we will continue monitoring that event. Kókó tí mo koikimedia kò sí event tó bá ń ṣe ní ilé tó bá ti relate mọ́ àṣà àti ṣe. I am always happy. Ṣẹ́rẹ́ wọn tí wọ́n ti really factor the long term. Nigeria ní problem tí Tinubu gbọ́dọ̀ fix. Responsibility ẹ̀ nìyẹn, kò sẹ́ni kankan tó ń dìmú fún yẹn. Lára problem tó máa fix òun náà ní tọ̀dọ̀ tiwa. Lára problem tó máa fix òun náà ní ti àwọn Biafra. Lára problem tó máa fix fẹ́yìn náà ní economy Nigeria. Lára problem tó máa fix òun náà ní security Nigeria. Lára problem tó máa fix òun náà ní pé kó stabilize ọkọ̀ tó ń pè ní Nigeria torí ọkọ̀ yẹn ti dẹ̀gbẹ́ báyìí. So bọ̀ bí ọkọ̀ yẹn ṣe máa dúró padà kò sí lọ́wọ́ Tinubu. Tinubu gan lè make his ship yẹn kó stand padà. Nigeria ti di Titanic tó ti ń rì. So Tinubu kàn try láti fẹ́ pilot ẹ̀ díẹ̀ ní ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú Bishop. Yeah, hello. Yeah. Yeah, ẹ má sọ̀rọ̀ lọ Bishop.
God bless you. Briefly ni mo kàn fẹ́ tán.
Má sọ̀rọ̀ lọ mo ń gbọ́ ẹ.
Olórí wípé bí ó ti ṣe àwọn ẹran nọ́tánà ọdún ti ṣe wọn látìgbà tí ó ti embark lórí unification of dollar and naira. The unification of exchange value ó ti ṣe wọn láti gbà yẹn ó ti ṣe wọn. Òun náà ṣe bá fàdé ní ẹ̀dùn. Pé síbẹ̀ kò Emefiele kò lè control ọ̀dà ẹ̀ òun ló ṣe yọ àwọn DSS tó lu opportunity ẹ̀ tó fi gbé yẹn náà. Ẹ̀ tó gbé síbẹ̀ ẹ̀ sìn ó ti máa wọn fà á already pé kọ́ unify price yẹn. Price yẹn ò tí ì wà unify nílẹ̀. A ṣe ń ra dọ́là ní 800, 850 níbí náírà tó $1. Business fún àwọn báńkì kí báńkì máa tà á nísìnyí. Àwọn báńkì ò tí ì túlé wọn ò tí ì lè ta. Kìíní yẹn ó difficult because corruption tó ti wà ní tó kàn dé ìnèdè ò fẹ́ jẹ̀jẹ̀. Àwọn kan bẹ́tà wọ́n máa dúró pé wọ́n máa ta kó di ìbàjẹ́ lẹ́nu gbogbo àwọn Fúlàní yẹn. When the dollar is 4 something, wọ́n dẹ̀ ti gbé fáwọn káwọn máa tà ní bíi 760, 7 something. Òde ò fẹ́ unify ẹ̀ bó tilẹ̀ jẹ́ pé the unification náà ẹ tó fi devalue naira because the unification is that you now devalue the naira, you can now be selling at 6 something or 7 something, but it will now be general price both local and international. Wà ní local ẹ̀ kò sí jẹ fún ọmọ tó ti ṣẹ̀wọ́ already. Then gbogbo other party yẹn náà kò sọ́gbọ́n kò sẹ́ni tó lè. Àwọn ti sọ fún tẹ́lẹ̀ Tinubu himself leave wọ́n ti sọ fún tẹ́lẹ̀ wípé ó lè bí ti Nàìjíríà come back home. So kó tó yóò fẹ́ lọ rí yẹn kó lọ rí. And that doesn't affect Yoruba nation. In fact, it will buttress and quicken Yoruba nation profile. Thank you.
Ẹ ṣé gan ni. Mo kí ìyá wa Florence fún kọfí tí ẹ rà fún wa ní ọwọ́ ọ̀sán yìí. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo yín. Mo dẹ̀ kí ẹ̀yin ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n tá à ń bá sọ. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni bàbá wa Adésínà Táíwò, there is no money in Nigeria. Bọ́lá Tinubu need a lot. Oníṣòwò kékeré ló ní mo kí bàbá wa Victor Ọlábàmbọ̀. Àwọn ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n la jọ ń sọ̀rọ̀ ní bíbáyìí. Bíbáyìí ò kì í ṣe fracas. Bíbáyìí ń discuss nípa total disintegration of what is called that Nigeria. It's not a violent movement. I think people that are mixing it up with a violent movement. This is a movement of intellectuals. Ó lè dàbí pé n tá à ń gbọ́ níta àti Mukila kan sí our Florence for that coffee on that kind of what we call a super chat. But the super chat more so the only avenue that you can support us is through all those revenue, either PayPal, First Bank, all those account details ló ń lọ lókè yẹn ló scroll. So the bad Barclays yẹn tẹ́lẹ̀ is no longer working. New account details òun ló ń bẹ lókè yẹn tied tó sọ pé even I need to edit that. It's not 000. It should be Koiki lóye kó máa jáde bá o edit that after the program because tí bá tọwọ́ bọ̀ ní sí o máa mẹ́sì gbogbo broadcasting. Mo kí bàbá wa Jimoh, shout out to you as well. Mo dẹ̀ kí ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà lórí MixLR. We are just 2 hours 26 minutes. Even though we've not talked a lot, but we've done a lot of video and because I say 50 minutes. But let me quickly move further into the conversation. How do we negotiate with Tinubu? Báwo la ṣe fẹ́ negotiate pẹ̀lú ẹ̀? Ṣé a kò máa jókòó sí inú conference room tí gbogbo àjọ wà yìí? Because I see this as a conference room. Everybody is right inside. Ìyàtọ̀ kan ní pé a ríra wa, but à ń communicate. A dẹ̀ ń gbọ́ látọ̀dọ̀ àwọn tó jẹ́ leaders wa tí wọ́n ń darí Yorùbá nation. But in the real world, creative action ni thank you for flogging onítìrì bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ìyá jágbajàgba. In the real world, how do we literally have a negotiation with the government? Bí yàn kan bá ní wọ́n negotiate. I'm still going to do this program again, because kò lè jẹ́jọ́ kan la máa fi parí ẹ̀. Báwo ló ṣe negotiate pẹ̀lú ìlú kan? Àbí báwo ló ṣe negotiate? Aṣáàrí ìgbà tí kíkọ̀ fún yín ní a bit of understanding ẹ̀, just a small bit. Mo ṣe ẹ ṣe gan ìyá Moyo. That is the way forward. We need to negotiate with our own Yoruba president, Bola Tinubu. Even though he's not a Yoruba president, but he's a Yoruba man. He's not a Yoruba. America man know the world is a Yoruba president. He's a Yoruba man. It's an advantage. Gbogbo nǹkan ló ní advantage and disadvantage. Àwọn tó ń ṣe politics gan, wọ́n fẹ́ lo Tinubu as the last card. Ṣé rí táwọn politicians wa tí wọ́n bá fi sọ́kàn nísìn pé Tinubu is their last hope. By the time tí Awúsá mi bá débẹ̀, ó máa drill wọn gan. Gbogbo tó kó jọ, wọ́n kàn máa gbà lọ́wọ́ yín náà sọ́kàn òru kan. Ọ̀sán kan òru kan ló máa gbà kúrò lọ́wọ́ yín. And they will now deal with every single one of us. So even àwọn tó jẹ́ politicians ní Southwest nílẹ̀ Yorùbá, Tinubu is their final card. Because by 2031, after tó bá ṣe 2027, tí wọ́n bá tún fi pé ó yẹ kó vote fún again. Now, how do we negotiate? It's a conversation. Ṣé lẹ́tà nìkan la kàn máa fi negotiate pẹ̀lú Tinubu? No, it doesn't work like that. Àwọn bàbá máa ní team tó wà on standby. Tó yẹ pé tí Tinubu bá ní òun ti ní committee tòun tó fẹ́ bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀, ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn gbọ́dọ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀. Ṣé n tó máa wá pẹ́ ká máa jókòó pé ó dìgbà tí Tinubu bá ṣe 3 years, ó dìgbà tó bá ṣe 1 year, ó dìgbà tó bá ṣe 6 months? No. Negotiation is a continuity. A ti negotiate pẹ̀lú APC prior before Tinubu came in. What do I mean by that? We send a letter to Buhari. That is a negotiation. Any communication between anybody, kí lẹ rò pé NLC tó ṣe negotiate. Now one negotiate. Ìyẹn ni wọ́n ṣe wá strike. Because ó yẹ kí strike ti wà nínú Nàìjíríà nísìn. And that would have put a pressure. Thank you so much again, Bàbá wa Olúwaṣeun, fún coffee tí ẹ rà fún wa lórí coffee bot tí is a new kind of system that is just there. Ẹ lè send it through UK Barclays account. Ẹni mo máa sọ fún wa pé ànídòwó mo fọ fún láàárọ̀ yìí. Full advert ní Tesco ṣe pẹ̀lú Metro. Only God knows how much tó gbà lọ́wọ́ wọn. Àwọn ọ̀ṣẹ́ advert. And even advert tó gbọ́dọ̀ máa jáde lórí YouTube tó fi jẹ́ bí another small revenue. YouTube ti sọ fún mi pé fídíò méjì kan wọ́n náà reported. Kò ṣe àwọn èèyàn, but federal government asked that video is just too powerful. Mo plead pẹ̀lú wọn, but only no. So Kidimon, thank you so much for the support. For those of you that are supporting, even in prayer, is enough for me to keep going. Now, as many Yoruba people tí fẹ́ jẹ́ ká support Baba Akintoye pé kó negotiate, kí lẹ wá fẹ́ kí bàbá Akintoye ṣe? Bàbá mọ̀ pé negotiation ó máa wáyé, àwọn external negotiation kan náà máa wá, wọ́n lè má reveal ẹ̀ fún wa. Ẹ jẹ́ ká wo Good Friday Agreement. Ṣé UK nìkan ló ń bẹ̀bẹ̀ pẹ̀lú àwọn IRA? Ẹ rí pé Amẹ́ríkà náà bá wọn dá sí ìgbà tí Bill Clinton wà níbẹ̀. A ti sọ̀rọ̀ nípa IRA tí ìbá tẹ̀ show yín anything, gbogbo alámọ̀ nípa IRA. Nígbà tí negotiation yẹn ń lọ, ìgbà tẹ́mi máa délùú ní 1998 yẹn ni wọ́n sign agreement tó fi ń pè ní Good Friday Agreement. So ṣé ẹ má bínú, family come first. Hello? Yeah.
Kí ló kà? Kí ló wí? Kí ló ọ̀dọ̀? Kí ló kà? Kí ló kà? Kí ló wí? Kí ló ọ̀dọ̀? Kí ló kí ló kà? Kí ló wí? Kí ló ọ̀dọ̀?
Ẹ má bínú, family very, very important. So, as I was saying, negotiation is a powerful message. But part of negotiation would also mean that our civil disobedience must be out as well. That is not a violent way. Protest, rally, leaflets, continue talking, whether on any platform, online, offline. But àwọn ìlú kan wà tí mo mọ̀ pé bàbá yìí máa make effort láti push fún president Nigeria pé ó bẹ́tà kí gbogbo yín lọ. Those are something that will not come to the public domain. Kò ń ṣe gbogbo yẹn ló máa mọ àwọn yẹn. Bọ̀bọ̀ ṣe ń ṣe láyé ló ń ṣe lọ́run. Everybody knows that. So àwọn yẹn nísìnyí láwọn máa sọ fún federal government pé ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà ńlẹ̀ kò ń ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ bullet, kò ń ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ ìbọn. Ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà ńlẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ máa jọ jókòó ẹjọ́ máa sọ. Nítorí pé tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá jọ jókòó kẹjọ sọ, situation tẹ́ ẹ̀ ń wò ní Sudan ó máa kéré sí ti Nàìjíríà. Ó máa affect everybody. Kò sẹ́ni tó ní affect. Ẹni tó fẹ́ lọ Nàìjíríà ò ní lè lọ Nàìjíríà mọ́ for some time. So tábàlẹ̀ ti fẹ́ jẹ́ pé a fẹ́ jẹ́ kí open window, because so far nísìnyí open window láwà. Níjọ́ tí window yẹn bá ti close, that means that àti ìfẹ́ gbọ́ra wa yé for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, gbàgbós bí ìgbà. But a tún máa padà sórí round table. So why then is it difficult for any government láti fẹ́ gbọ́n ọ̀tá fẹ́ sọ? But àwọn ò fẹ́ ṣe yẹn because they are hoping that they can steer the ship that has gone drain. Nigeria ti di Titanic, ó ti wà lábẹ́ omi. Titanic gan láti jọ́ tọ́nú ti wọnú abẹ́ ẹlẹ̀ nínú omi tó wà. Mo wo fídíò kan tó ṣe projection ẹ̀. Wọ́n tí lọ púlẹ̀ jáde nínú abẹ́ omi tó wà. Ṣé wá rí Titanic tí Nàìjíríà jẹ́ yẹn? Àwọn tó jẹ́ àwọn gbòógì àwọn yẹn celebrate. Wọ́n kàn ṣe bí àtẹ́ pé ọkọ̀ yẹn ò tí ì rì. Titanic ti rì. Mo sọ fún yín pé olówó Nàìjíríà ò lè driver rẹ̀ láti ibi tó wà lọ sínú state tiẹ̀. Kò tó bẹ́ẹ̀. Ó gbọ́dọ̀ kó as many extra security. Ṣé Tinubu máa wá ṣe tó máa relieve àwọn olówó pé tó bá fẹ́ sáré lọ Ìjẹ̀bú Òde wọn ò ní the security? So negotiation. Àwọn ọba tó jẹ́ ọba ilẹ̀ Yorùbá bọ́ fẹ́ bọ́ kọ̀ wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ bá Tinubu sọ̀rọ̀. Tó tá ọba bá Tinubu sọ̀rọ̀ again it's gonna come back on them. Nítorí pé tí Tinubu bá máa fi ṣe tán tí kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà, ẹ̀yin ọmọ Nàìjíríà tẹ́jọ́ ọmọ Yorùbá níbẹ̀, àwọn ọba yín lẹ máa fẹ́ kanra mọ́ o ẹ máa kanra mọ́ ọba yẹn. So it's an advantage, but that advantage can also become a big disadvantage. The North might not like whatever step tó fẹ́ gbé. They will have to adhere with it. One must accept it. This program runs down at exactly 24 minutes. Kò ní ju 3 hours long. So the advantage that we are pushing now, pé ẹ jẹ́ ká jọ jókòó, ká jọ gbé yẹ̀wò. Yorùbá nation tá à ń pariwo kò lè stop because of Tinubu, kò lè stop because of àwọn ọba ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. It is a right, and that inalienable right will be respected just as any other countries are asking for the same. Tinubu is just a number out of so many Yoruba people who are opportune, but it's not going to be here forever, just as so many of us as well. It will be here, ìtàn máa rántí tiẹ̀, wàá rántí àwa náà. But one thing is, the last card that I'm saying, that if he does not play the card in the narrative, kò ń ṣe pé yẹn ó máa ní kó lọ ṣe ná open autonomy for local government. Look, tí Tinubu bá ṣe pé kí autonomy wà fún local government, tí the next government bá dé tó bá block ẹ̀ kí lẹ máa ṣe sí? No, kí lẹ máa ṣe sí? Ṣé ẹ ń rò bẹ́ẹ̀? Oh, ṣe rò pé Wike náà inú ọ̀ ní fẹ́ dùn gbogbo jẹ president ní 2031 if not 2027? Ẹ fi pé Wike ò tí ì náwó tó tọ́jú pamọ́ tó lè hold títí di another 4 years láti compete pẹ̀lú Tinubu. Tó bá wá compete pẹ̀lú Tinubu ní 2027, tó bá fẹ́ compete ní 2031. Why do we have to make Nigeria a practice ground? What the practice in Nigeria for 63 years? It has failed. 63 good years ni a ti fi practice in tọ́pẹ̀ Nigeria. Èdè tó dẹ̀ ṣe fail, Baba Akintoye ti sọ fún wa clearly. It's nothing more than the fact that we have what they called nationality problem. Nationality problem gangan là ń ní, kò ní kankan ṣe pẹ̀lú wọ́n fix Agége títí ò dá ebi ń pa ìyà ń jẹ yín. Ẹ jẹ́ àkọ́kọ́ yanjú nationality problem. Tá bá ti lè yanjú yẹn, then we will be on the right track. So an average person in Nigeria àtẹni tó wà níta, we are all the same. Ẹni tó wà níta kọ́ wa a little bit better than ẹni tó wà nínú ilé. Tinubu is not going to fix Nigeria as much as you want, because Nigeria is going through a turbulence. But àwọn North, wọ́n sì ń sọ fún wa pé ó sì lè work. Ẹ̀gbọ́n tí Gowon sọ níbí báyìí.
As far as I'm concerned, yes, I'm satisfied we are still existing as a united nation after that little fracas. Thank God we've made it to 6 years, and I hope we'll make another 6 years. I may not be here, but that is my belief. Always to keep Nigeria one, together, and to really make sure that there is a better. Sorry. Yeah, okay. So.
Talk to me politely.
Sorry.
And make Nigeria better. Yes. And what's your advice for the politician, the Nigerian politician? Look at the legal process, you know.
No, look, Chad, now that one, you do your best and be a loyal Nigerian, love Nigeria, good or bad. And whatever it is, if it is bad, try to make it better. If it is good, try to make it even better. Well, best. Try to make it best. Okay? So this is my attitude, and this is the reason why any government, I have always supported every government that started in this country, and I will continue to support.
Impediment to Yoruba development is the impediment to Oodua development. Without Nigeria, we won't be where we are. 1962, we were far ahead of South Korea and North Korea. We were far ahead of China even. We had television before France. We had radio before South Africa. Now look at where we are today. I think it's a shame that even any Yoruba man can be talking about restructuring at this point in time. What are we restructuring? This country that is already shot to pieces? I don't think that's what we want. But they are always talking about giving Nigeria a chance. The patience of Yoruba with Nigeria has come to an end.
Ẹ compare ọ̀rọ̀ méjèèjì. Ẹ compare ntí Gowon sọ. Kẹ compare pẹ̀lú ntí comrade George Akinola ń sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. Gowon is saying that even if Nigeria is good or bad, problem tiwa ni ká lọ fix it. So they know that Nigeria is not good. Neither is it bad. But we know that it is so bad that we, the indigenous people, have been affected. Our identity is being run under a false country called Nigeria. Our real identity, hey, ọmọ Yorùbá is the tallest man, but Nigeria ló ń pè níta. But orúkọ Yorùbá ló ń jẹ́ kọ́lọ̀ fọ́run kẹ́ brother wa tó ló kú ní àárọ̀ yìí àbí lánàá dẹ́ni. So we are being told that we are who we are not, and we are saying that it cannot work in the long run. Hello.
Hello.
Ẹ káàsán lọ́dọ̀ tiwa.
Ẹ kú ètò sá.
Ẹ bá ṣe ní briefly because we have just about less than 20 minutes.
Okay sir. Ẹ kú ètò. Ọlọ́run á ràn yín lọ́wọ́.
Àmín.
Ṣé ẹ rí mo kàn fẹ́ dá sí ọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́ẹ̀sán ni. The only thing tí tèmi máa sọ ni pé kí Jésù Kristi bí Ànábì Muhammad kó wá sí Nàìjíríà kò lè fix Nàìjíríà. Torí bí bàbá Tinubu bá tiẹ̀ try báwọn fẹ́ fix Nàìjíríà, àwọn kan wà tó jẹ́ kàbá tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n wá kí Nàìjíríà wà fix kán lè máa intimidate àwọn tí ò ní nǹkan tó wà fún nìyẹn. So student loan tó fi lẹ̀ bàbá Tinubu fẹ́ fi kàkàjé òní ó dẹ̀rù kó máa work bet kò lè work ẹyọ kan. Ẹnìkan lásán Haúsá ẹyọ kan tí ò lọ school rí olú máa kó gbogbo owó yẹn sí àkáǹtì ẹ̀ ó dẹ̀ máa kó gbé lọ. Gbogbo owó pàápàá yẹn ó máa kó sí àkáǹtì ẹ̀ ó dẹ̀ máa gbé lọ. Àwọn tó lọ school tó jẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá tó lọ school ẹ mọ̀ pé tó bí ọmọ Yorùbá náà fi ṣe. Torí àwa la ní 90% student tó wà ní Nàìjíríà Yorùbá ọmọ Yorùbá ni wọ́n. Ọmọ Haúsá ló ní 10%. So wọn fàálù 10% tí wọ́n yẹn. Wọn fàálù wọn. Ètò ìbílẹ̀ pé kọ́ lọ máa dowó lé wọn lórí gírẹ́sẹ̀gù yẹn. So wọ́n máa kówó yẹn ẹnìkan ló máa kó jẹ́. Ó dẹ̀ máa gbẹ́dẹ̀ lé mọ́lẹ̀ kò dẹ̀ tí nǹkan tí bàbá Tinubu máa ṣe. Kò ní sí nǹkan tó máa ṣe. Nǹkan tá a kàn tó fún bàbá pé kó pọ̀ sí Yorùbá nation. Ó lọ wo kínní. Ó pe àwọn tó yẹ kó pè wọ́n ní ìjókòó kọ́sọ́ ẹ̀tẹ́tù ẹ̀ àmì kíkù kájíjọ tọ̀rọ̀ kó má di kínní ìgbà tó bá di wàhálà pàtó lọ. Ọmọ Yorùbá ti ṣe tán ìgbà tí tó lè yí ìpinnu Yorùbá padà Yorùbá ní ìpinnu gbogbo everybody ń wá. Kò séyàn tó ń wá ní wọ́n Nàìjíríà ní Nàìjíríà ti pín already. Ó ti pín kò jẹ́ Nàìjíríà kò jẹ́ country kan mọ́. Ẹ̀ka bí kan sọ pé Nàìjíríà is one country they are deceiving themselves. Nigeria is not one country. Politically, because the attention here is from a point Nigeria okay Nigeria ti pín yẹlẹyẹlẹ. Ọlọ́run ràn yín lọ́wọ́ sá.
Àbí ẹ ṣé gan ni ẹ̀gbọ́n mi. Thank you so much and ẹ kú iṣẹ́ takuntakun ẹ bá ń kí àwọn ọmọ. So we all know that. But àwọn kan náà ní ẹ̀yin lẹ máa ṣe fúnra yín o. Whether Yorùbá nation, whether sínú Nàìjíríà, ẹ̀gbọ́n tí bàbá yìí sọ.
Now you see, you Obina, you have everything going for you. And I don't want you to feel discouraged. Please, things are bad in Nigeria, but I believe it's only for a short time. Because it depends on you. Whatever my generation might have done wrong, and I will be the first to admit that my generation has done a lot wrong, it's for your generation to do it better. And don't just sit down and complain. Don't just sit down and complain. Sitting down and complain is like the anger of the cripple. you're on the same time, you will be on the same ground, on the same level, but you have to be proactive. And you have to make sure you get enough of what I call critical mass of people, like-minded people, who will be ready to say, yes, we can bring about a change. And you can bring about a change if you get the critical mass of people that are ready to slug it out. I always say, when people say, hey, well, when will this old hag go out of the way politically? They won't go out of the way. You have to make them go out of the way. They won't voluntarily go out of the way. You have to make it uncomfortable for them. I'm not talking of violence, but bringing pressure to bear to make it uncomfortable for them.
Koikimedia, bringing the world closer to your doorsteps. As the man saw, sorry, onígbà tó máa ń busy, onígbà tí kò kí ń busy, ó ti lọ nìyẹn. The next one, ìyẹn máa dé ní, the next one máa dé ní 1 minute. So, bàbá ń sọ fún yín pé Yorùbá nation ló lè ṣe àmọ̀tán sọ ni, torí lè náà lè sìn. Koikimedia, bringing the world closer to your doorstep. In the 23rd of August 2022, Shorele náà, ó ti ready láti depart. Sórí kọ̀mpútà ni, ó máa tilẹ̀kùn, ó dà pé sensor, bóyá kan tó fẹ́ wọlé, ilẹ̀kùn yẹn máa tì nísìn. Ìyẹn la ṣe ń sọ fún yín. Sórí the next one tó máa dé, ó máa dé ní 1 minute. Èyí náà ti kéré, èyí náà ti lọ. So, má jẹ́ kí ọkọ̀ parọ́ fún ẹ pé Yorùbá nation is possible. Bàbá ti bá Yorùbá mi. Báwa náà ṣe máa ní network wa nìyẹn. Wọ́n máa gbéyàn from point A to B. Tó tún rí pé lẹ́yìn náà tó dé. Every minute. Bọ́ ṣe ń kóyàn dé tó ń lọ tó ń bọ̀ nìyẹn. Má yẹ kí ọkọ̀ parọ́ fún ẹ.
Yorùbá nation now. And welcome back as we are now 12 minutes out of the program. Let me say again, for the benefit of many Yoruba people tó wà níta, your hearts are divided. We know that. Hearts are divided. And we're talking about ẹ̀yin tí ẹ tẹ́ fẹ́ support movement tẹ́lẹ̀. Lọ́pọ̀ kan, ó dàbí àtẹ́ pé wàhálà wá pọ̀. Pé kí ló ń fa wàhálà tó tó èyí? Ṣèbí a ti ní ẹni tó jẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá níbẹ̀. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ń rí nìyẹn. Ó wà understandable. Kò dẹ̀ sí nǹkan kan tó wrong pẹ̀lú ẹ̀. Ó wà understandable, kò sẹ́nìtì tó wrong pẹ̀lú ẹ̀. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ń rí, ó yàtọ̀ sí báwa ṣe ń rí. Ìyẹn ló ṣe ní bólúkálukú ṣe ń wò nǹkan. Wọ́n ẹni tó mọ̀rọ̀ sọ, ẹni tó máa gbọ́, kó rántí. Tinubu is running a government already. And I don't think we are disturbing his government. But we are only asking for the right that we are not going to beg for. Just like this.
Other countries were refused at first, but we have to remember, and this is a really important point, that self-determination is an inalienable international right and a law as well. And other countries will recognise Scotland's democratic choice expressed at the ballot box. They will recognise that because that is the route that many other countries have taken in order to become independent. And just to make that point, that international law is very pragmatic on that point. So we should have...
So, kí la wá ń ṣe tó yàtọ̀? Let me show you the last background before we go. Money negotiation is something that everybody, especially àwọn tó fẹ́ independent, just like àwọn tó fẹ́ Prime Minister wa máa ti yarí kẹ̀, ó máa tẹ̀lé àwọn immigration jáde láti lọ máa wá àwọn tó jẹ́ illegal immigrant. Ọlọ́run máa ṣàánú wa UK. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ tí níwèé, Ọlọ́run má jẹ́ kí gbogbo kí ọ̀fọ̀ ọlọ́kàn balẹ̀. It's not easy. Abẹ́rẹ́ Prime Minister, òun kan dira délẹ̀ ni o.
immigration enforcement. Today, I joined immigration enforcement officer on operation to clamp down on illegal working. This work is key to delivering on my promise to tackle illegal migration and stop the boat. Here is why. Ìwọ máa farabalẹ̀ o. Ara reason táwọn náà ṣe sọ pé a fẹ́ control border wa tó ń sọ pé Tinubu ò lè control border wa temporary measure ni. Ara reason tá a ṣe fẹ́ gba Yorùbá nation ni mo fẹ́ kà yí o. Criminal gangs use black market jobs to encourage people to come to UK illegally. Ǹjẹ́ ọmọ yẹn tó jẹ́ illegal people tó wà nínú Southwest Lagos State ten sọ pé 20 million tá a bá gbọ́n kúrò yàtọ̀ sí àwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà tó ní right torí o lè gbọ́mọ Igbo kúrò níbẹ̀ o lè gbọ́mọ Hausa. I'm talking about àwọn ẹ̀yà míì láti other countries tí wọ́n wà documented but àwọn ọmọ Igbo nìkan lè ń fèsì torí pé àwọn ló ń run the business tó pọ̀ jù ní Lagos State. Àwọn tí wọ́n ń lò ní property tó ń ránṣẹ́ ọmọ ọ̀dọ̀ tó ń kọ́lé aṣáàrí nílé tó wó ní Lagos State. Àwọn ọmọ Togo, àwọn ọmọ Benin tí wọ́n níwèé even though we are West African tó kún sínú Nàìjíríà tó wà ní Lagos State tá a bá gbọ́n kúrò à sì yọ 1 million kúrò nínú 20 million yẹn. Ara reason táwa náà ṣe fẹ́ Yorùbá nation nìyẹn o. Criminal gangs use black market àti iṣẹ́ to encourage people to come to UK legally. Mo máa kí bàbá ẹ ṣe gan ni ìyàwó Ọlájíre Coker fún the super chat tí ẹ send through COVID coffee software tí a ṣe gbé jáde because since we don't have this super chat anymore it's a way to say Koiki thank you so much kò gba $5 ìwọ náà fi mú mi tó bá papọ̀ lọ́tọ̀ ọ̀yàn bíi mẹ́rin márùn-ún adòdìndé we are so grateful because since that super chat was removed at least there's always other ways another paper not the send us musakalam1@yahoo.com. Thank you so much every single one of you. We are almost time out. We need to 3 hours long. Illegal working farabalẹ̀ kó gbọ́ mi báyìí. Illegal working put vulnerable people at risk of exploitation. It also means people with the right to work here are being cheated. Èmi tẹ́mi níwèé àtẹni tó fẹ́ wá sínú bíbá ìwọ ọmọ Lagos State tó pọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀rọ ọmọ Yorùbá tó ń bínú sí koikimedia. Ǹjẹ́ ò ń bínú sí Sanwó-Olú pé àwọn tó jẹ́ illegal people mo sọ pé ọmọ Igbo kì í ṣe illegal immigrant ní Lagos State forget it. As long as tabashi wà nínú Nàìjíríà ọmọ Haúsá àtàwọn ẹ̀yà tó kù wọ́n ní right láti wà nínú Lagos State. Kò sí nǹkan tẹ́ lè ṣe sí yẹn àṣírí mo gé fún yín o. Illegal work puts vulnerable people at risk. Working here illegally defraud the public purse as their businesses and workers do not pay taxes. Ara ta ṣe pé gba Yorùbá nation nìyẹn o kí ẹ ṣe gan ni bàbá Sunday Adebanji. Ìdí tí ẹ ṣe san tax ní Lagos State tó máa fi provide the services fún yín because àwọn tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ illegally wà níbẹ̀. We have a clear plan to tackle illegal migration and our approach is working. Báwo la wá ṣe fẹ́ tackle illegal migration? So it is entirely up to those of you that think that Tinubu will resolve the problem. So àwọn Scotland mo fẹ́ mú nísìn Scotland self-determination. Àwọn ará Scotland. Constitutional Secretary, the UK government is obstructing democratic choice made by the Scottish Parliament, undermining Scotland democracy and self-government that the people voted for. Ara Scotland is in complaint. Farabalẹ̀ kò gbọ́n tí bàbá ìfi sọ.
Post-Brexit evidence and examples of UK government ministers increasing control over Scotland's devolved powers and imposing legislation without the consent.
Imposing legislation without consent. Imagine Scotland tí ó wà at least a little bit independent. Tó bá wo Scotland, wọ́n ní Premier League tiwọn, wọ́n máa lọ ń gba World Cup, wọ́n wà independent, but wọ́n ní inú wọn ò dùn nítorí pé UK tó jẹ́ England ó impose legislation without their consent. Ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá, mo sọ fún ẹ pé bíbá ló ti máa gbọ́ gbogbo nǹkan tó dàbí foreign relationship policy forget about gbogbo àwọn àṣírí ńlá àṣírí kékeré o lè ní ìmọ̀ bí kan ṣe ń work nígbà táwọn Scotland bá ṣe ń complain ìwọ ọmọ Yorùbá wá ní ká má complain ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn ò yé mi o mo mà kí bàbá ìyá mi Odùmọ̀ṣù Adéṣọlá nígbà tí àwọn ará Scotland ń complain the paper we publish tá bá sọ pé paper we publish ó dàbí bàtà kọ lẹ́tà náà ní paper lélẹ̀ èèyàn kan wá náà ń gba dọ́kúmẹ́ǹtì kan kò fi dọ́kúmẹ́ǹtì yẹn wọ anybody àwọn gullible idiot labroad àti ní Nàìjíríà ẹ wá believe nonsense tí ìyá Jagawere tó ń sọ fún yín ẹjẹ àgbọn tí arákùnrin sọ ká tó máa lọ díẹ̀díẹ̀.
The paper we've published sets out post-Brexit evidence.
The paper we publish just as ìwé ta kọ mo ní a máa negotiate ni ara negotiation wa ni paper lédè tó bá sọ pé paper white paper èèyàn kan sọ pé òun gba country ẹ wá ń bẹ àṣẹwà ń tọrọ pé kó fi ọ̀hún kárí ní 2023 ṣé a normal ṣá èyí tẹ lọ ń follow Dúpọ̀ ní tì ṣé ẹ normal because èmi ò rò pé normal because tẹ bá normal ni ẹ̀yin gan tẹ́ ń sọ pé ń support ẹ̀ ṣé kò jẹ́ kó ti email copy sí yín ni kẹ́yìn náà study ẹ̀ stupid bomb bastard.
And examples of UK government ministers increasing control over Scotland.
Only UK government ó control Scotland devolution of power. Láwọn tí Azeez Mori ẹ̀járe. So, mo gbọ́dọ̀ download the video yìí. Ẹ jẹ́ n kọ́kọ́ sáré download ẹ̀ torí kó má di pé màmá wa. A gbọ́dọ̀ máa lo video yìí. Torí pé mo ti wà pressed of time àbí time mi ti wà pressed of time anyway. Òyìnbó tó bá ṣàjẹ́. So, ẹ jẹ́ n download ẹ̀. Kí ló dé? Kí ló sọ? Download ẹ̀ náà kí ní kàn pẹ̀lú èmi mo fi download ẹ̀. Download now. So màá lè ní lọ́wọ́ fúnra mi. Ya download. Ara bí technology ṣe dá nìyẹn. So ìwọ máa bú mi o. Kò máa kí Dúpọ̀ ní tìrì máa parọ́ fún yín ní 2022 àbí 2023 dáadáa. So mo ti download video yẹn. A máa ṣe analysis ẹ̀ dáadáa. Èmi àti Bishop Adesina lájọ máa ṣe analysis this particular video. Àwọn tó ní power wọ́n máa ní wọ́n control power yẹn wọ̀ jẹ́ káwọn rí lò. Ìwọ tí ò ní power mo ní pé ká gba power ká gbàgbára ẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ Tinubu mo kí ẹ maize gold. Ẹ jà gbọ́ tán délẹ̀.
Devolved powers and imposing legislation without the consent of our nation's parliament, Holyrood. The government of Westminster has taken decisions in devolved matters such as public service spending. They've blocked legislation passed by our Scottish Parliament.
Káwọn ọmọ Yorùbá bá mọ tí màá yín sọ ètò ń bí màá ní inú ló máa ń sọ yìí ẹ mọ̀ pé àwọn báwọn bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ àwọn kì í ṣe expression báwọn ṣe ń ṣe expression tẹ bá rí ojú ẹ̀ bó ṣe ń kọ́rọ́ in tó kọ̀ rán sọ yìí in tó ń bí wọn nù gidi in tó ń upset wọn gidi àwọn ilé ìtẹ̀kọ́ mo sì fẹ́ ṣó mo kọ̀ bá ilé ìpàdé ni ẹja àgbọ̀délẹ̀ tó.
Process for obtaining a gender recognition certificate.
Gender recognition.
Easier and implemented the Internal Market Act against the wishes of.
Against the wishes. Àwọn ìbò ńlá. Against the wishes ó tún dárúkọ Welsh Parliament. Mo kí ẹ triple ADRS. Mo ní tẹ́ bá fẹ́ gbọ́rọ̀ nípa ọ̀rọ̀ àgbáyé. Ẹ lè lọ sọ́dọ̀ platform kẹ́ lọ gbọ́ oríṣiríṣi bó tó bá ti di pé o fẹ́ gbọ́rọ̀ àgbáyé policy foreign báwọn èèyàn ṣe bọ́ síbí ìlú ṣe ń operate bó ṣe ń operate làwọn lè ṣe ń operate àwọn lè ní sínú ọwọ́ ọjà dúpẹ́ wọ́n ń jáde pé àwọn inú wọn ò dùn no ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ń sọ pé inú wọn ò dùn sí England nísìn tẹ́mi náà sọ pé inú mi ò dùn sí Tinubu ṣẹ́ṣẹ́ wà bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ṣẹ́ṣẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ náà but ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ̀ ní làákàyè kankan torí pé ẹ̀yin rí Tinubu ó dùn à superior ju tèmi sọ̀rọ̀ stupid people all over the place.
Both the Scottish and Welsh parliaments. The Internal Market Act has made it more difficult for our parliament to bring in environmental protection measures like the single-use plastics ban and our deposit return scheme. It also means Scotland may have to accept products from elsewhere in the UK that do not meet our safety standards, like genetically edited food. But it wasn't always like this.
It wasn't always like this before the Brexit referendum. UK government did not kill it.
For the Brexit referendum, UK governments did not pass new laws affecting Scotland.
Torí pé mo sọ fún pé UK ó fọ́n wọn lẹ́pọ̀n. UK. Ó dá.
Powers without consent of our parliament. However, the current UK government has since passed legislation affecting devolved areas with...
ṣé wọn pé devolve tó ń sọ yẹn òun là ń sọ ní gbogbo wa pé agbára ò dé ìsàlẹ̀ bó bá wọn Tinubu kó fún power kó devolve power wá sí local government temporary measure ni government ní ilé èdè kó yọ kúrò torí Tinubu ò ní ní sé mọ́ Buhari ò ní sé mọ́ ó kù 5 minutes fún mi so ẹ jẹ́ n sáré gbọ́ tán.
Without consent 9 times, and it's expected to do so again with the retained EU law bill, ignoring the views of Scotland. Ignoring the views of the Yoruba people. So torí pé Tinubu wà níbẹ̀ nísìn kémi wá ignore views in tí gbogbo àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá fẹ́ lábẹ́ bàbá wa Oracle Adebanji Akintoye àti Ysdm. Views of Scotland's democratically elected representatives and putting animal welfare.
Putting animal welfare and workers' rights. Ẹ̀yin ò tẹ̀ ní animal welfare mo ní zoo ní Nàìjíríà.
Workers' rights and food standards.
Ẹ̀yin ò tẹ̀ ló ń jẹ tẹ̀ ń jẹ tẹ́lẹ̀ kò sí standard kankan.
Taken together, the evidence and examples set out in this paper demonstrate a worrying trend. In obstructing the choices made by our Scottish Parliament, the UK government is eroding devolution.
Hey, eroding. Jẹ́ sáré lọ wo English dictionary ẹ̀. Tó bá sọ pé nǹkan eroding kí ló mean? Ẹ gbọ́ bó ṣe pé UK government erode. Ibi tí gradually wear away. Tó bá wá ní what does eroding mean? To eat into or away by slow destruction. So in those ni pé UK government is eroding devolution. Ó ń pa devolution. Kí ló ń pè ní devolution? Ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ wo meaning devolution. Tá bá sáré lọ wo meaning devolution ká tó máa lọ. Tá bá ní devolution, what is devolution? In England, devolution is a transfer of powers and funding from the national to the local government. It is important because it ensures ó jẹ́ pé that decisions are made closer to the local people communities. Kò sí devolution lọ́dọ̀ tí. So, meaning ẹ̀ gangan, tá bá ní ká sáré wò, meaning.
Devolution.
Again.
Devolution.
The transfer or delegation of power to the lower level, especially by the central government to the local or regional administration. So, wọ́n ní bàbá yẹn sọ pé UK government ti ń ṣe kí ni ó ti erode devolution in power tiwọn.
And the self-government.
Self-government that the people of Scotland voted for.
The people of Scotland voted for.
This is a very powerful message. Mo ní láti lọ wá paper yẹn later. Mo mọ̀ bí a paper yẹn lélẹ̀.
The paper we've published sets out.
Okay, paper yẹn lélẹ̀. So, a máa ṣe program lé lórí. Then download it straight away. PDF ni. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà lórí Koiki group yẹn, a máa send it síbẹ̀ ẹ̀rí gbà. So mo máa send it síbẹ̀. Mo ti download it. Máa send it síbẹ̀. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà lórí Koiki Media group chat. Ibẹ̀ ẹnìkan mo lè send it sí. Tí bá dẹ̀ lè upload ẹ̀ sórí YouTube orí Koiki Media náà. So devolution since the Brexit referendum summary. Mo kàn fẹ́ kà briefly ni time ti wà up already because of other engagement. So kákọ̀ okay òun náà ló gbé jáde yẹn okay that's fine. So tàbá ní ká sáré wò nísìn ẹ rí pé again expanded yeah. Devolution since the Brexit referendum summary. This paper set out the impact of devolution and on the powers and responsibility of the Scottish Parliament of the key UK government decision since the referendum on European Union withdrawal in 2016. Hello. Ẹ káàsán. Ṣé fẹ́ dá sórí ètò ni? A sọ̀rọ̀ lítà nígbà tẹ́ ti mọ̀ yẹn ẹ jẹ́ ká sọ̀rọ̀ lítà. Ẹ ṣe kíákíá torí àsìkò mi ti lọ.
Ṣé rí ọ̀rọ̀ tí ọ̀kan lọ máa ṣe ọ̀rọ̀.
Èmi ò fẹ́ gbọ́dọ̀ ọ̀kan lọmọ nígbà yìí. Nísìnyí ẹjọ́ tó lọ náà. Ọ̀kan lọmọ gbogbo nonsense jágbàjàgbà yẹn they are not up to my standard. Mo fẹ́ gbọ́ kọ̀ọ̀kan òun kọ̀ọ̀kan lọmọ. It's not even worth mentioning on this platform. I'm sorry gan. ẹ̀jẹ̀ ká sọ nǹkan mi sorry kọlọmọkọ kọlọmọ ni àwọn yẹn wá jẹ́gẹ́ mi tí wọ́n máa reference sí lórí koikimedia kọlọmọkọ òkú lọmọ ni I'm sorry ẹ̀yin èèyàn mi kọ́ mi pẹ́ lọ́kàn lọ́mọ ibi tá a máa sọ dé nìyẹn so ẹni ẹ ti disturb program yẹn ní last minute kọ́ mi pẹ́ ọkọ̀ lọ́mọ àwọn yẹn wá jẹ́gẹ́ bí èèyàn tí wọ́n máa sọ lórí live show. Mo kí gbogbo ilé nǹkan sí jàre ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa Ọláyọmí Kóìkì ni mò ń jẹ́ a máa sọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́yìn ìjọ mi lórí program ẹ jẹ́ ká fi sílẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lórí ètò ti tèmi my views have always been the same but I will not go further than Baba Akintoye tí ò bá ní làákàyè ó yẹ nísìn ìwọ Adéagbo ó yẹ nísìn I am an intelligent man tí bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ peace níbí báyìí mo kàn ń sọ torí pé mo mọ̀ pé nàgàmù ló pọ̀ jù ní gbogbo yín ẹ̀yin ẹ̀ fẹ́ kí Baba Akintoye máa jáde kó wá sọ fún yín pé a máa pín Nàìjíríà báyìí ogun ní tí mo dúró lé yẹn mo change it but I am also a man of peace so if you are talking nonsense ayẹ pé brain ẹ ó ti wà fry bí dodo àtẹ̀yìn you are born bastard ni mo sọ fún ẹ yóò lò sí èèyàn mọ kéékèèké tẹ wà lórí social media èyí tẹ̀ dá kankan mọ̀ so mo kí gbogbo ẹni tó kù jàre tí bá ní a máa jẹ ogun so mo gbọ́dọ̀ promote another avenue fẹ̀yìn ọmọ Yorùbá àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́ born bastard ni ẹ má lọ prepare mind yín bẹ́yìn bá ní ẹ̀jà ìjà bá dé èmi ni kò so mú mọ́lẹ̀ pé ìjà bẹ̀rẹ̀ èmi ni kò dì mú mọ́lẹ̀ o ó yẹ nísìn in tó máa nà yín lẹ́gba ó wà nínú system lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ ní lóúnjẹ jẹ ẹ̀ ní ríná lò ẹ̀ ní rí 24 hours electricity ayé yín ó máa ṣe kí ni á máa squeeze èèyàn máa fresh lójú mo sọ fún yín pé a ti jọ wà nínú 4 years ìgbèkùnjọ 8 years 4 years Tinubu èmi náà ń lé kankan ìwọ náà máa lé tiẹ̀ tó bá máa fi di 4 years èmi á reveal ibi tèmi bá ṣe dé òun sọ̀rọ̀ kan tí máa sọ lórí social media nísìn èmi náà ń ṣiṣẹ́ ní background torí pé mo fẹ́ sọ fún yín pé ayé ò lè dá tó tèmi pẹ̀lú Tinubu tó wà níbẹ̀ ojú a máa jọ pàdé ní 2027 nígbà tí máa reveal iṣẹ́ tèmi náà ṣe lẹ́yìn from pastor koikimedia ni mò ń jẹ́ mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí ẹjẹ́ agbó ìdánsì Ìgbòho ká tó máa lọ sí ilé mo kí ọmọdé mo ká àgbàlagbà ìtì bá sọ tó bá tẹ́ lọ́rùn lọ sínú omi òkun ó já sínú bẹ̀ tó bá rẹ̀ ní tètè yọ ẹ́ fine tó bá rẹ̀ ní tètè yẹ odòkú nìyẹn. The love is too much. The love is too much. Ogun bá dé, kẹsàn pé ẹ̀fẹ̀ ogun. But for now, we will make and push for every effort for diplomacy and negotiation. Advantage ní Tinubu jẹ́. We will use all. Fẹ́ ká ṣe negotiation ní ọmọ àlè nìyí. Fẹ́ negotiation kò síbi tí kò sí negotiation ní láti like Tinubu a máa negotiate pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ ó máa gbọ́ràn sí wa lọ́nu whether he likes it or not. And on that note, enjoy the rest of the afternoon. I'm not too sure if I'm going to come back tonight. If I do, fine. If I don't, you'll see me again in the lecture room. Èyí tẹ́ miss lecture láàárọ̀ especially èyí tẹ́ wà ní Atlantic long torí pé èyí jí late kò ní máa ju 1 hour 30 minutes lọ torí pé sanwó fún lecturer so lecturer ti cut the hours yẹn down láti 3 hours so 1 hour 30 minutes maximum mo promise yín pé a máa ṣe lecture yẹn ẹ̀yin tí America ẹ lọ wò yẹn ẹ enjoy ẹ Koiki lèmi jẹ́ mo kí gbogbo yín lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí whether we like it or not Nigeria will break.
See
fọ̀ balẹ̀. Ẹ má fojú ko eruku ata abẹ́ ń bẹ eruku ata tí o ti fojú ko àbá wà gbogbo Nàìjíríà. Ẹ má fojú ko ata ẹ lójú.
Ọmọ Oòduà. Ọ̀gá Fúlàní, ọ̀gá Fúlàní, ọ̀gá Fúlàní ló jẹ́ o. Yorùbá nation yìí ti gbogbo wa ni. Kó má gbọ́dọ̀ bàjẹ́. Torí kò sílùú mìíràn.
Life is so funny. You come with nothing, then fight for everything, and later leave everything and go back with empty hand. God is powerful.
Ojo gàté, kò jọ gàté, Yorùbá nation ṣe bí eré, ó kéde ara rẹ̀. Yorùbá nation rèé o, ó dúró nàtán. Yorùbá nation, ó dúró gédégbé làwáwà, ó dúró gbáǹkéké, ó dúró gbáǹkọ́gbè bí ọ̀pá ọ̀ranyàn káàkiri nílẹ̀ Amẹ́ríkà. Ìlú tí a tẹ̀dó sí orókè Oòduà, onílẹ̀ Yorùbá kò lè farasin. Yorùbá nation ti dúró nàtán fáyé rí ní USA. Ló bá tán, ẹgbẹ́ ìlànà Oòduà lábẹ́ olùdarí ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n àgbà Banji Akintoye ẹ̀ka ti USA lábẹ́ ìṣàkóso barrister Adékúnjọ ń ló gbé akéde Yorùbá nation yìí kalẹ̀ kàǹkà. Àgbájọ ọwọ́ là fi sọ̀yà o, àjèjì ọwọ́ kan ò gbẹ́rù dórí, kárìn kápọ̀ yíyẹni. Gbogbo ọmọ Oòduà nílẹ̀ Amẹ́ríkà àti lágbàáyé ńlá pè láti darapọ̀ mẹ́gbẹ́ wa yìí ní www.ilanausa.org tàbí kí ẹ pè wá sí 202-210-3251. Yorùbá nation kéde ara rẹ̀ fáyé rí, ojú tẹlẹ́gàn. Yorùbá nation is calling. Sons and daughters of Yoruba land and citizens of the world, behold, the Yoruba nation has come to stay. The billboard is magnificent. It is beautiful. It is second to none. It is historic. Sons and daughters of Oduduwa land, this is a clarion call for you to be part of history. Make haste and join Ilana Oma Oòduà USA at www.ilanausa.org. Today, as tomorrow may be too late, Yoruba nation is second to none. Call us today at 202-210-3251. Yoruba nation, Ògo Adúláwọ̀.
Koikimedia, bringing the world closer to your doorstep. 15th of June 2023, Thursday, 2:09 p.m. Have a very good afternoon. Thank you so much, every single one of you, without leaving anybody behind. Bye for now.